check.
Weights have been lifted. Sprints have been run. Preparation for today's game is history. It's time to get it done. You're listening on MichiganSportsRadio.com.
Season already in progress. While it seems like the fall season just wrapped up, winter championships will be here soon. So let's get you caught up on the whens and wheres for each of our sports. First is the Upper Peninsula Swimming and Diving Finals for both boys and girls on February 18th this year, and those will be held at the McGurk Arena in Mount Pleasant. Girls and boys bowling finals will be held March 3rd and 4th, the same weekend as individual wrestling finals at Ford Field. Ice hockey drops the puck March 9th through 11th for semifinals and finals at USA Hockey Arena in Plymouth. Gymnastics finals 10th and 11th. Girls basketball invades the Breslin Center on March 16th for the start of 3 days of semifinals and finals action. Champions will be crowned on Saturday, March 18th. Schedules, pairings, brackets, tickets, and streaming information, the best place to go is to the newly redesigned MHSAA.com. Everything that you need for our winter finals can be found there. Game balls this week go to Birds Victoria Gray. She scored 25 points in a 9-point win over South Lyon East in the Airport Showcase. Bedford is off to a 7-0 start this year in girls basketball. And to Montebello senior J.T. Smith. He went over the 1,000 career points mark in a win over St. Charles.
Need money for college? You need My Student Aid. My Student Aid is the go-to resource that helps Michigan families find money to pay for college. Plus, they'll guide you through the financial aid process and answer any questions you have. For grants, scholarships, and more, connect with My Student Aid, helping make college affordable for everyone. Learn more at michigan.gov/MIStudentAid.
Our weekly Be the Referee feature takes a look at the fine art of officiating with the MHSAA's Sam Davis.
If you've seen the movie Hoosiers, you know that a basketball rim is 10 feet above the ground. That's the same if you're in the gym at Beaver Island High School or at Little Caesars Arena. But what are the other court dimensions? To start, courts are typically 84 feet long, but can be up to 94 feet long. They're also 50 feet wide. The free throw line is 15 feet from the face of the backboard, and the high school three-point line is 19 feet 9 inches from the basket. Each hoop is a circle, 18 inches in diameter. The boys play with a basketball 29.5 inches in circumference. The girls play with one at 28.5 inches in circumference. And believe it or not, 2 girl balls will go through a standard rim at the same time.
Thanks, Sam. Now more than ever, we need officials. If you are interested, go to the MHSAA website now to register. Sticking with officiating, since 2020, the number of registered officials in Michigan has fallen from more than 9,000 to less than 8,000. It's a dip that puts extra strain on our current officials. But for the fall 2022 season, the number of registered officials is more in line with where we were pre-pandemic, and things seem to be slowly trending up. The MHSAA has increased pay for postseason games and provided membership in the National Association of Sports Officials. Membership gives officials expanded insurance coverages, access to professional services and development, and a subscription to an MHSAA-focused referee magazine. But there's still a need for more. If you are interested, go to MHSAA.com and click on Officials for more information. Because without officials, it's just practice. You've been listening to This Week in High School Sports, powered by Michigan Student Aid, a production of the MHSAA Network. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Ross, and we'll see you next week.
Lobbed ahead over the timeline to Gable. Gable strikes to the basket, elevates, slams it down over top of Orbaugh. Won't get it. Ryan dribbles to the corner. 15 seconds to go. Ryan's Vanderjack up fake, launches a three. Good! Oh my goodness! Out to the point. Rosema, innocent space. Shot scores! 2-goal lead for the Bulldogs. 4 unanswered. Line given on to Titus. Titus angles. Pull up shot for the lead. Good! Brady Titus. A scream to the heavens after he knocks it down.
And hello, everyone, and welcome to Vanderslice Gymnasium, and welcome to game night on Michigan Sports Radio. Nate Dreyer with you. I will be joined a little bit later on by Chandler Timmer because we have got a very, very full night of basketball, a special triple header this evening on MGN. Girls basketball, unified Special Olympics type basketball, and then, of course, the boys game that is a battle in this contest for the top spot in the OK Red. Grandville, Grand Haven in town tonight at Vanderslice Gymnasium, and the girls getting the early start in this one. Both teams returning, and we have got a very abbreviated Scott Bates Farms Insurance Agency pregame show because everything's been moved up this evening, and we are just about ready to go. Grand Haven comes in 6-3 overall in the season. They're 3-1 within the OK Red. Grandville 6-5 on the year. They have yet to win a game within the OK Red, and each team coming off well-fought, or however you may word it, contests on Tuesday. Grand Haven took down East Kentwood 50-37, and Grandville fell to Hudsonville. Of course, a lot of storylines around this Grand Haven team in that game against East Kentwood, and some of the things that you may have seen transpired, especially on the East Kentwood side of things, and it was a very testy game between the two units in that contest. And then for Grandville, how about the former state champion Eagles, how close they were able to keep it in that game, 53-48. And all of that said, looks like National Anthem very quickly going to be on deck. We're going to step aside and be right back here from Vanderslice Gymnasium. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here from Grandville.
Somebody once said life moves pretty fast, and that's exactly how we like it. Want to build something? Great. Start businesses, build bridges, raise a whole city. Future in fighting crime? Want to save lives? Do it all here. But you've got to go forward fast. Because today is now, and tomorrow is soon. And to get ahead of the game, you got to get ahead of your time. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
To everyone who loves great food, let us make you a meal the Wisconsin way.
We cook each butter burger to order for you and the people you love, so it's the best part of your day.
The best.
The best.
And every creamy scoop of fresh frozen custard, pure happiness.
Pure happiness.
Pure happiness. Because where Culver's comes from.
And the heart of America's Dairyland.
Our love.
Our love for fresh food is as strong as our love for all of you.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Yeah.
All right, about time to go. Fast start to this evening at Vanderslice Gymnasium because we definitely have got a really terrific packed night of basketball coming up here on MGN on Michigan Sports Radio. Nate Dreyer with us. CT will join me a little bit later on this evening. Let's take a look at your starting lineups in this one. Katie Kowalczyk, former the head coach of the 6-3 Grand Haven Buccaneers. They'll start the sophomore guard Jillian Sorrell. Up front, they'll have the senior forward and post Heidi Berkey. The senior guard Grace Harrison gets the start alongside the junior guard Emerson Burnt. And the junior forward Maddie Schopp will get the start for the Buccaneers. For the Bulldogs of Grandville and head coach Lindsay Karpowitz, they roll out the same lineup we've seen throughout really the bulk and the entirety of this season. The junior guard Gracie Rakowski gets the start in the backcourt alongside the senior guard Olivia McKellar and the fellow senior guard Anaya Fisher. Up front, the Bulldogs have the senior center Sydney Highborg getting the start, and the junior forward and wing Tessa Gregor draws into the Bulldog starting lineup. Going to be a really, really fun trio, of course, as I mentioned, of contest tonight, but especially when you look at The varsity contest first. I think a game where you have a Bulldog squad that has not yet won here on the girls' side in the OK Red. They're going to be hungry. This Grand Haven team is certainly, even within the very difficult OK Red, starting to make a little bit of a statement themselves at 3-1, try to go for the top spot. We know what's at stake for the boys' game. Both teams 3-1 and both teams tied with East Kentwood right now atop the OK Red. All right, here we go. First game of the day. Of course, the unified game. Grandville and Kennewa Hills will be in the middle. That's always a very fun event, to say the least. Heidi Berkey will jump on Tessa Gregor to get the start in this one. Triple header underway in Grand Haven will maintain the first possession of the contest. The Bucks move it into the front court with the dribble control of Berndt. Turns into the lane, feeds out right side for Shop on that up fake. Left side to Harrison, very tough guard. She was the one that was in the middle of a lot of the storylines against East Kentwood and some of the fiery play in that contest that you may have seen. Shop can shoot from deep. She'll have it here, defended by Hybor up top. Slow possession for Coach Kowalczyk Fulmer's squad as they look to get set in the wing. Sent across the floor now for Berndt. Around that ball screen, Hybor stays with her. High post. Turning into the lane, will not go for Berkey. That's where she wants to operate for the most part. Unable to get that one to go, but the rebound does stay with the Bucks right here. Swung into the wing, quick catch and shoot three for Berndt. No good, off the mark. Rakowski the board, and Grandville will possess it for the first time in this contest. Rakowski will look to run the offense. Handoff for McKellar on to fellow senior guard Fisher. Back on to McKellar. Drives on Jillian Sorrell. Floater short, and out of that scrum. It'll stay with the Bulldogs on the far side of the floor here. 6:53 to go in the first. Long possession for Grand Haven, and then Grandville works somewhat slowly as well, but it's those drives into the lane from Rakowski and McKellar that I think have been so critical. Pass off the fingertips of Hybor, out of bounds, but last touch there, it was chased down by Heidi Berkey. It stays with the Bulldogs. Look to Berkey, got that last post touch for Grand Haven. You know, she's a player that when she's able to get rolling at the block, in the post, that's how this team really likes to operate a lot of their offense. Good play outs wide and outside, I should say, as well. A big piece of that for the Buccaneers is 12, Jillian Sorrell, that you just saw, the sophomore, of course, related to Harrison Sorrell, who we'll talk about a lot later on this evening. Dump pass looking for the cutting McKellar. Knocked out, and this time it will go back the other way. Last touch by the Bulldogs. So long possession winds up in a turnover. And the Bulldogs, though, are going to bring a little bit of full court pressure out of this first inbound. Sorrell with it, stops. Feeds for Emerson Berndt over the timeline. Running on ahead is Berkey. Feeds, swung, corner, Shop. Up fake around Gregor. Drive to the basket, floater, good. And we have our first score of the game. Maddie Shop, the junior forward, able to score on the teardrop off the window. 2-0 Grand Haven with 6:20 in the first. Rakowski for Fisher. Up top to run the offense, defended by Berkey. Both teams taking their time, working in the half court early in this game. Rakowski off the handoff, weaves from McKellar. Had a chance to think about it. Drives and set and scores. Nice work, Olivia McKellar, finishing hard with the left. And the Bulldogs set the press up one more time off the made basket. Sorrell, extra pass over the timeline, got it to Harrison. And the Bucks will go to work down at the block. Berndt drives to the hole, cannot score. Rebound knocked out. Last touch by the Bulldogs. Grand Haven keeps it down a little. 5:44 in the first. 2-all early in this contest. Starting off our triple header tonight on MGN. Nate Dreyer with you now. CT joins me shortly as we get this early start underway here this evening. Gregor defending the inbound, and it's kicked by Tessa Gregor, and it'll stay with the Buccaneers. As Berndt tried to throw that one in, we'll look to do so one more time here along the baseline. Coach Karpowitz watching the inbound, able to slip it on into Harrison. Harrison then loses it to Fisher, and the Bulldogs going to run the full court. Anna Rakowski drives to the basket, and Grandville takes their first lead of the contest. The full court score from Gracie Rakowski makes it a 4-2 Bulldog advantage. Pressured up. Taken over the timeline, on to Jillian Sorrell. Sorrell to Shop. Nice tic-tac-toe pass into the lane. Berkey blocked by Gregor, and the Bulldogs with pace going to run again. Now Fisher will settle it down. Grandville the early 4-2 lead, 5:12 in the first. They look to run in transition, now set it up in the half court. Drive from Fisher, lost it, and Grand Haven takes the basketball off that turnover. 5:07 to go. Again, Coach Karpowitz will bring the full court press here. It's a 1-2-2 alignment, all in the backcourt to start against the Grand Haven attack. Barrett to throw it in. McKellar to face guard on the inbound and able to slip it on in. Extra feet on to Sorrell, and Sorrell will drive over the timeline. Swung corner, Harrison. Grace Harrison drives, right hand, cannot get the runner off a nice move, and the Bulldogs take the basketball. 4:55. First 3 minutes now gone, and Grandville maintaining the early tough lead in this one. First substitution as Kylie DeVries will check in for Sydney Hybor. And the Bulldogs offense will go to work with Rakowski leading the offensive charge right here. Both teams running mostly man sets early. Of course, we know Grandville has liked to utilize some of that 2-3 trapping zone as well over the last couple years, and especially at points this season. Rakowski doing the work on her own. Feeds Gregor, mid-range, Jay, splash, good. 6-2, the Bulldogs extend it to his 2-score lead. Tessa Gregor in the mid-range, able to finish right there. Grand Haven looking to beat the pressure. The Bulldogs bring it back on. And now they eventually do beat down over the timeline. Hard whip pass blocked by Gregor right back into the face of Harrison, who will feed it up and around. Harrison really the engine that runs this team on both sides of the floor when you look at intensity as a point guard. Drive cut off by Rakowski for Shop. Now McKellar picks up the defense there. Up top, DeVries the steal, and the Bulldogs the basketball. First half of the first quarter gone. 6-2 Grandville. They'll keep the pace under control one more time in the front court this time. McKellar hands off for Anaya Fisher. Heidi Berkey, the defense. Berkey had 14 points against Traverse City West over at the Grand Haven Lakeshore Cup tournament on the girls' side over the holiday break, and has continued that kind of play into the start of conference season. Mid-range jumper off the feed from Fisher by Gregor will not go, and Grand Haven to run it again. 3.5 to go first quarter. Bulldogs by a couple of scores, 6-2. Swing to the wing for Harrison. Harrison defended by DeVries, shoots it over top and scores. Harrison sizes up the taller defender, splashes down in her face, and it gets it down to a 1-point game. 6-5 now with 3:13 in the first. Grinding game continues early right here. Fisher will face up against the defense and hand off for McKellar. McKellar slips a pass for a turning Gregor, cannot hit the hook, and the Bucks will be able to clear out and get the run all the way down to the driving Berkey. Clutches and scores. Grand Haven back on top. Heidi Berkey runs the full court. Both teams have scored pretty evenly through their lineup early, and Grand Haven goes back on top 7-6 with 2:44 in the first. Rakowski, handoff McKellar, swung Anaya Fisher. Fisher to slowly back it out, slowly set it up. The defense from Heidi Berkey swung to Rakowski. Rakowski kind of sets around that screen, steps back in the mid-range pop game, cannot knock that one down, and a race to the rebound. Grand Haven takes it out of the scrum with it chasing Emerson Barrett. Only one substitution for either team so far. The Bulldogs swapped on the inside. Hybor for DeVries. Both teams have stayed out there besides that. Shop tries the triple, cannot knock it down. The rebound, Fisher, and the Bulldogs to run it again. 6 minutes already gone in this one. We've just been going back and forth with slow grinding possessions early. 7-6. Couple of high ball screens set for Fisher. Anaya Fisher drives, loses it, and Grand Haven gets the steal with Barrett, and she will run it. Barrett feeds Shop, back to Barrett up top. Swung corner, Grace Harrison. Greg with the defense. Sorrell to the wing for Shop. Shop the dribble drive through a pair of defenders, knocked from behind. Sorrell tries to save it, able to do so. Mid-range jumper, no for Barrett, and the rebound is chased to and taken by a sprinting Gracie Rakowski. With speed, has numbers. Rakowski to the basket, cannot finish the left-hand layup short. And out of another scrum on the floor, McKellar able to dive on it. And Grand Haven will somehow secure the possession. And we've got a whistle and a timeout from Coach Kowalczyk-Fomer. And the Grand Haven bench to finally get a rest in this one. 1:15 in the first, Grand Haven 7, Grandville 6. We will be right back.
Cornerstone University.
The professors are very open to helping whenever they can.
Academic excellence, character-driven athletics, Christ-centered community involvement.
Cornerstone has been a great opportunity for me to grow as a leader, just being able to approach people and be warm and welcoming and hospitable.
Experience it for yourself. Attend a Golden Eagle Day at Cornerstone for a taste of campus life and the chance to meet faculty and staff. To arrange a visit for your high school junior or senior, go to cornerstone.edu. Cornerstone University. Build a life that matters.
A sense of purpose, a higher calling. At Dean Transportation, we call it our passion. It's simply who we are. 60 years of pioneering the best health and safety standards because safe student transportation is essential. We are hard-working folks, connecting children to learning, schools to our communities, and you to a better career. Want to make your community a better place? We'll put you in the driver's seat. Join the Dean family today and help to connect our kids to brighter futures.
And welcome back. Corner 3, Grace Harrison will not go for Grand Haven. And the Bulldogs take possession back over. Nate Dreyer with it. Chandler Timmer is here rejoining me. He's working his way into the broadcast right now. Couple of substitutions for the Bulldogs. See him there with both Perez and Dowd out. McKellar's been out there the whole time. She'll have it. Inside, 40 seconds to go. Still a slow, grinding game, 7-6. As Rakowski will back it out and maybe hope for the final possession the way that these possessions have been going so far in the first quarter. Rakowski, corner McKellar. Faced up by Jillian Sorrell defensively. Now Rakowski again will take it and swing for Emma Perez. Perez drives on Berkey. Cut off. Rakowski again with 18 seconds. Bulldogs down a point late. Rakowski drives into the trap, loses the handle, and now the Buccaneers will get the chance for the final score, except for in the backcourt, losing her footing is Harrison, and it will go back the other way with the Bulldogs. And CT, I think you've seen a pretty good example of how this game's been played. It's been slow. It's been grinding so far. A turnover right there, really the only thing that has stopped long offensive possessions, hence how it's 7-6. Throw to DeVries at the high post, back on Rakowski. Rakowski tries a deep three at the horn, good! Splashes it down from deep at the buzzer, and the Bulldogs take the 9-6 advantage into the second frame. We'll be right back here from Vanderslice Gymnasium.
Bowling is a great time that combines great friends, football, and bowling. Compete against your friends or family, throwing a football at 10 real bowling pins. You can bring in your own food, or they have a pair of 45-foot bars featuring soft drinks and adult beverages. Visit foldingwarehouse.com, Grand Rapids, to reserve your lanes.
Founded in 1969, J&H Family Stores has grown from a single tank truck to over 50 convenience store locations in West Michigan. Our locations offer a variety of fuel options ranging from Exxon, Mobil, Marathon, and Citgo. At many of our stores, you'll also be pleased to find a Tim Hortons or Subway. Find the location near you by visiting myjhfamilystores.com. There's one in your neighborhood.
And welcome back. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timber with you here. Game night on Michigan Sports Radio. 9-7 after one. Nice triple at the end of the first quarter by Gracie Rakowski, able to put the Bulldogs on top into the second frame. And CT, like I said, you weren't able to come into about halfway through the girls' game right here, but I think you probably got a pretty good feel on where the pace is at right now as the Bulldogs take possession.
Looked like a couple long possessions and having some issues getting the ball down low, but nice shot by Rakowski there, just decided to shoot over top of it and able to hit it.
Rakowski setting up here as Grand Haven is going to zone up or kind of matchup zone up a little bit. Driving McKellar corner. Dowlett tries a quick trigger three off the mark. And the rebound is batted into Rakowski's control. She'll turn to a triple. Misses that one long. Dowlett races down. Another rebound for the continued possession. Hung on to by McKellar. 30 seconds gone. Second frame. Off balance shot. 360s will not go, but two at the line. And our first foul of the game is McKellar will go to work here for the Bulldogs. 7:27 second quarter. First foul, of course, as I said, on either team. So first on Grand Haven, and that is the first foul on the fresh on the floor. Kendall Wojciech, as the senior, makes her first appearance of the contest. First free throw good. Right down the hatch for Olivia McKellar. She's got three. Tessa Gregor off a brief rest will come back in here for DeVries. As you mentioned some of the issues getting to the post, the Bulldogs will kind of go a little bit more 5 out with this sort of lineup that they have on the floor right now. One more McKellar, able to hit them both confidently at the line for Olivia, and the Bulldogs will set up that press one more time right here as they've done all game long. Sorrell side straddles over the timeline and hands off up top for Berndt. Berndt crosses down the right side of the lane and hands off again for Jillian Sorrell, the sophomore guard. Perez faces her up around that screen. Down goes Perez. Shop with it. Steps just inside the arc. Launches the long two. Will not go. And the chase up top. Perez got knocked around after it. And after all of that, Grand Haven keeps possession. And it's given to Sorrell. Steps just inside the arc. Launches that long two. Will not go. Chase to the rebound. Goes to Berkey. And Grand Haven keeps it again. Rebounding an issue right now for the Bulldogs. 6:48 in the second. 11-7 Grandville. McKellar the reach. Burnt able to slip it to Wojtaszek. Up top to Berkey. Drives, floats, and scores. Good work from Heidi Berkey with the left. Able to get the finish. She has 4.
Both teams doing some work on the offensive glass, getting a couple rebounds, some second chances, multiple opportunities on both ends of the floor. Both teams eventually able to get the basketball in the net and scored some points here off some second chance points, long possessions, but it works regardless.
McKellar, handoff for Rakowski. The Bulldog leading scorer, Rakowski, with 5 off that triple a moment ago to end the first quarter of play. Able to get a bit of space. Nice feed. Gregor can't finish, but McKellar there for the putback. Great job to be right in perfect position. And Olivia McKellar puts the Bulldogs up 13-9.
Yeah, nice play. Gregor slipping to the basket on the right side. Missed the layup, but McKellar on the weak side right there to go back up and get it from the left.
Sorrell for Shop in the wing. Back to Berkey. Sorrell, bit of a miscommunication defensively, leaves the sophomore wide open. She can't hit. Berkey the board, and Perez the steal. She'll outlet it herself. Perez all the way to the basket, left hand, will not get the friendly roll, and Grand Haven forces it nearly into their own bench, batted around into the backcourt, where Rakowski will settle down. 5.5 second quarter, 13-9. Grandville continues to win kind of the grind fest right here so far in this one. Rakowski drives, flips it, and cannot score. The Bulldogs the board this time to extend their offensive possession. Double dribble is the call on Rakowski, and some substitutions on either side. Grace Harrison comes in along with Nia Fisher and Sydney Highbor for their respective squads. 5:15 in the second, 13-9. Long possessions, Chandler, but probably more efficiency wanted for each of these coaches right now after those long possessions.
Yeah, definitely looking to get some of those shots to go in, but I like the aggressiveness that you see from Rakowski and McKellar, even Perez there, having the chance, try to go strong to the basket, and if the shot doesn't go in, they've been getting some offensive rebounds, and you're close to the basket at that point.
Emerson Berndt in the wing. Berndt turns into the lane, floater over top of a pair of defenders, but a hack and a foul called. I think they're going to get Gregor right there on that one. 4:52 in the second. First foul on the Bulldogs. Just one on either team right now, and that is foul number 1 on Tessa Gregor, the Bulldog junior. 13-9, the dog advantage, so Grand Haven can get within a score at the line, and Berndt unable to do so on the first and has one more coming. Coach Kowalczyk-Fulmer will make another substitution, get Shop a rest, and Eden Smith, the junior forward and wing, will check in her place when we're here for Berndt at the line and able to convert. So Grand Haven goes within a single score, and the Bulldogs will start up their offense right here. So a little bit of that full court pressure from the Bulldogs been utilized. Grand Haven now for the first time will extend a 2-3 zone into a half-court trap, maybe to speed up this Bulldog offense just a little bit. Dowett corner with space. Berndt the late close. Shot not good. And the rebound pushed the other way with a chasing Heidi Berkey. Berkey all the way to the basket. One-on-one Rakowski. Good. And a foul. Chance to knot the game at the line for Heidi Berkey. There the Bulldogs able to get a good shot with Dowett. Can't hit it. But Berkey goes coast to coast on her own and can tie it on her own right here.
Yeah, pretty good recognition from the Bulldogs offensively. Seeing that extended zone that you talked about and getting the ball to the corner quickly. An open look for Dowett. But then right away Berkey taking it in transition on her own, able to get the Bulldogs on their heels defensively, take that for an and-one opportunity.
Foul on Rakowski is her first in the team, second, and Berkey able to splash it down at the line. She has 7, and the Bulldogs are now tied as Grand Haven's able to roll back in this one. Slow possession starts as Rakowski walks into that trap. Corner Gregor. Looking back to Dowett, stolen away by a reaching Grace Harrison. Harrison in the backcourt, roughed up by the Bulldog press. Able to slip it over the timeline to Berndt. Emerson Berndt swings, wings Sorrell, outlet pass, back up top, Berkey. Berndt in the wing, faced up by a couple of Bulldog defenders, able to get it to the twisting Berkey, back up top again. Half of the second quarter gone, 13-13. Drives, flipped up, scores. Grace Harrison now with 5. Good work by Harrison, and Grand Haven back on top by 2, and Coach Karpowitz wants time. 15-13, Grand Haven over the Bulldogs. 3:50 to go in the second quarter. The girls' contest, do not go anywhere.
Bowling is a great time that combines great friends, football, and bowling. Compete against your friends or family, throwing a football at 10 real bowling pins. You can bring in your own food, or they have a pair of 45-foot bars featuring soft drinks and adult beverages. Visit bowlingwarehouse.com, Grand Rapids, to reserve your lanes.
Founded in 1969, J&H Family Stores has grown from a single tank truck to over 50 convenience store locations in West Michigan. Our locations offer a variety of fuel options ranging from Exxon, Mobil, Marathon, and Citgo. At many of our stores, you'll also be pleased to find a Tim Hortons or Subway. Find the location near you by visiting myjhfamilystores.com. There's one in your neighborhood.
Welcome back out of the timeout. Bulldogs the possession. On to a leaping McKellar. Good work with the left by Olivia McKellar to get the score. She has 8 here for the Bulldogs CT, and good one-on-one effort by her down low.
Yeah, the Bucks trying to get the trap, but the Bulldogs able to escape it and find McKellar in the lane. Had to have some patience there, but eventually it finds an opening.
Sorrell around the screen, picked up by McKellar and feeds for Harrison. In the short corner, Burnt able to put Grand Haven right back on top with a quick trigger score, 17-15 with 3:05 in the second. See that extended zone that kind of shifts into more of a matchup type look as they go on throughout the possession after they start in the half-court trap. Fisher fakes the handoff, picked up defensively by Berkey. Lobs for Hybor, can't get the quick finish. Tie up, and Grand Haven gets it on the alternating possession. 2:45 in the second, 17-15. Shop checks back in for Smith, and the Bulldogs will wait back in the half court again right here, CT. We're seeing them mostly stick man-to-man, and now we've seen them lose the full court pressure as well, so playing a little bit more straight up than what they have in some of the previous games, the last few this year. Shop worked around, long attempt will go for Emerson Burnt. Good work in the wing, and the junior able to go up with 5 and put her team up 4 with 2:22 in the second. Bulldogs couple of lapses right there defensively, give up some soft spot shots, and Grand Haven has come back to take a couple of score advantage. Pass for Hybor, somehow settled down out of the trap, but then she feeds that one in nowhere, and Heidi Berkey will pick up the board as Sorrell quickly flings it over the timeline. Burnt feeds Shop, long 2. No good off the front rim, hit the top of the backboard, and it goes the other way. I think Grandville right now offensively, Chandler, as DeVries will come in for Greg, we're back to forcing it a little bit. I think you saw when they started this game, when they had the lead, they were taking 40 seconds, a minute even off the clock, working. The zone, of course, is kind of up the pace of their offense, but they seem to be trying to force it into the post and forcing quick turnovers. Right on cue right there. Fisher turns it over in the dump pass looking for Hybor, and a good work by the Bulldogs to force a travel in the backcourt as they engulf Shop, who shuffles the feet, and the Bulldogs take right back over. So full court defense right there, able to eliminate their own mistake as Shop will take a seat and Wojciech will come in.
3 straight offensive possessions for the Bulldogs, trying to get the ball to Hybor in the post area. She's had some room, but there, try it again.
Nice reaching pass, able to find Hybor that time, and Sydney Hybor, the senior, gets the finish. Nice feed, though, from McKellar first. 1:34 and less in the second, 19-17. Rakowski reached for the steal attempt. Grace Harrison to work. Dumps, poked away from Wojciech, but taken by the turning Burnt. Into the lane, no. Grand Haven will keep it. Good work there, and it's on to Harrison. Anaya Fisher races to the defensive look. Burnt pops a 3 over top of Rakowski. No. Rebound straight into the hands, and the follow will not go for Harrison. And finally, the Bulldogs take it out of there with Rakowski. Final 60 seconds of the first half. 19-17. The Bulldogs can tie or take the lead here. Rakowski goes to work after getting that screen set. Long step back 2, knots it up. Shot making right now from Gracie Rakowski. Top level, she's got 7, CT.
off the screen. Looked like Rakowski was going to try to get downhill towards the basket, but seeing the defense back off and respect her ability to get to the rim, able to step back and hit the jumper.
On the floor, out of the reach of Berkey, and the Bulldogs take possession. 35 seconds, and they can likely try to hold for the final shot with the pace we've been working at. Hold for the final shot of this frame and take us in the halftime, either tied or with the lead. Good work from the Bulldog ladies in this one, fighting for their first OK Red win of the year. Rakowski with 25. DeVries handoff. Gracie Rakowski again, trying to feed Highborn, a foul from behind. That is just team foul number 2 on the Buccaneers. I think it's also going to be 2 on Wojciech based on the call. That is the call. It's only 2 fouls on the Bucks, and both on their bench forward. Wojciech reaching pass for the turning Anaya Fisher into the lane. Tough shot from the waist, no. DeVries is blocked, and Grandville keeps it 15.6. Again, forcing it into the lane right there for the Bulldogs offensively.
Yeah, off the inbound pass, got it to Fisher, able to dribble around from the left block to the right, but then still some size down there to contend the shot.
15.6 in the second. We're all knotted at 19 in a game that certainly is looking like a first to 40 or less type of duel. Nice feed to the cutting DeVries. Will not go, and DeVries will tip it out of bounds, trying to race to it herself. And the Buccaneers will take the possession with 11.8. So both teams have had a couple chances at this point to maybe try to hold for the final shot, and they keep turning it back and forth here. Full court pressure for the Bulldogs, beaten with a pass to Grace Harrison. Harrison chased down from behind by Rakowski. Rakowski looked like she may have walked a tightrope, but the call is that she's out of bounds, and it stays with Grand Haven. I would want to see the replay on that. I think she made a great effort to stay in bounds. Now, she may have traveled with the way that she shuffled to stop, but it looked like a great effort to at least stay in bounds. Worked around to Sorrell. Final 3 seconds. Sorrell defended up. Burnt going to have to launch and scores. And they will count the basket. So 2 is good at the horn. 7 for Burnt at the half, and we can turn our way after a very, very quick first half play. I mean, it's 5:40 and it's already halftime. On to our Centennial Securities halftime show. Nate and Chandler with you. Graphics intern forgot your name. We'll get them later for that. 21-19 CT. So again, you came in a little late with our early start here tonight, but I think you had probably a pretty good idea of picking up what this game was. It was grinding. It was tough. You had to make the most of your opportunities, not turn it over. I think we can probably expect more of the same in the second half. Both teams seem very comfortable to just play the way we're playing.
Yeah, I think there's kind of a lot of back and forth and working on both ends, offensively, defensively. We've seen a lot of opportunities for both teams, some missed close to the basket for both squads, really, when you look at it. And I think both are comfortable. We saw a little bit of madness there towards the end of the first half, back and forth, some turnovers, but I think both teams are going to try to settle things back down a little bit and say a similar first half to what we're going to see.
All right, a lot more still to get to here on our Centennial Securities halftime show. Get you some scoring and get you some keys to the second half when we come back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here from Vanderslice Gymnasium.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly...
You've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Michigan Sports Academies offers quality youth sports in Grand Rapids, Holland, and Muskegon. With a wide variety of programming, MSA has something for new athletes who are just starting out to experienced athletes looking to take their game to the next level. Year-round programming is offered in basketball, lacrosse, soccer, and volleyball. Your athlete will love the quality of instruction from experienced coaches in state-of-the-art facilities conveniently located in Grand Rapids and along the lakeshore. Check us out at MichiganSportsAcademies.com.
Don't just find yourself, make yourself. start businesses, build bridges, save lives, raise a whole city. This is your future, so take it and move all of us forward.
And welcome back to Vanderslice Gymnasium. Nate Dreyer and Chandler Timmer with you here on our Centennial Securities halftime show. Look out at Vanderslice Gymnasium. Packed night of basketball. Remember this girls' game that's early. I mean, normally we are barely on the air right now, and we're already through half a game of this one, especially if we keep working at this pace. We're going to have an extra game and be out of here like early tonight. This game's going to take like not even an hour almost to complete. I mean, we had a less than a half hour first half of play in that one. That's pretty tough to do in 16 minutes of game time. But regardless, it's fast because the score's low, and because both these teams really didn't take timeouts. They really didn't run the ball. They really didn't turn the. I mean, there were some turnovers. Really didn't turn the ball over much. Didn't have many out of bounds plays. Most just kept the clock running. And let's go through some of our scoring from that first half of play for Grand Haven. Heidi Berkey and Emerson Burnt each tied for the scoring lead with 7. Grace Harrison had 5, and Maddie Schopp had 2, so they definitely worked through 3. I mean, on a low-scoring game, they definitely based their offense around Berkey, Harrison, and Burnt. I mean, no scoring for Jillian Sorrell, interestingly, who is normally one of their absolute leaders offensively. Bulldogs a little bit of the same thing. Gracie Rakowski with 7, Olivia McKellar with 8, 2 for Hybor, 2 for Gregor, and that does it for the Bulldogs scoring. So as we welcome you inside our broadcast position, I think that exactly kind of is the point, CT, from that first half of play. It was go to your big names. It was get long possessions. It was get the look you wanted, and both teams were very comfortable to play the exact kind of game that the other had also drawn up.
Yeah, I think same exact strategy as you said. I think they both know who they want taking shots in the possession. They both know who they want to be aggressive with the basketball, and it was a matter of setting those possessions up, getting the looks that they wanted, and then I saw some second chance points as well where they're getting offensive rebounds, kicking it back out, setting things back up, and not rushing anything more than what they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, in an interesting game as well, because we know both these teams have some tricks up their sleeve. We know Grand Haven isn't necessarily afraid to run all the time. They got in a very aggressive game, obviously, against East Kentwood. Talked a little bit about that in the pregame show, but they're willing to press and trap a little bit. You saw them go to some of the half-court trap. We know this Grandville team likes that, and I really like that kind of aggressive 2-3 zone they played. Neither really went to it too much. Grand Haven would kind of show the 2-3, then fall into more of a matchup or even a man-to-man type set. So both teams really, it's one of those games where it's kind of working, so you're not going to dictate or you're not going to move away from it because the game is dictated. If it's working, just kind of stay in that. The question is the first team that maybe does branch out, if it works, I think that might flip the game on its head a little bit.
Yeah, I think if you see either team decide that they're going to try to change the tempo a little bit and go to it, and if they have some success, then I think you see a similar adjustment on the other end where both teams are comfortable and have the ability to mix it up, to run some trap and have some of their guards out there getting some turnovers and being aggressive. But I think, as you said, both teams pretty comfortable with the way things are. I think the Bulldogs have shown that their ball handlers, Rakowski, McKellar, are comfortable in the trap situation, so the Buccaneers haven't been as aggressive throwing that at them because they're afraid of what could potentially happen when you get those players in some space.
And this Grandville girls team, yes, they have not won in conference yet. Many maybe thought that the Caledonia wouldn't be a good place where they could have won, but Caledonia beat a good West Ottawa team, so maybe you can take some of that into account. But they play a really tight game and a little bit lower scoring game against Hudsonville. They play their style again tonight. Again, this team wants to probably be more half court. They don't want to run into trap and do some of the things that Rockford and East Kentwood and teams of that sort do. I think a very well-coached game, back-to-back games here, from Coach Karpowitz and her staff. I think they've done a good job of dictating the pace, knowing the kind of guards they have, knowing the kind of play that they want. They've been trying to get some of those post touches. I think, in some extent, you may be asking for the team to calm down even a little bit more and not force as much. For the most part, I think a very well-coached game to stay within themselves and do what it takes to be right in it against a team that's 3-1 and very good even within the OK Red.
Yeah, I think Bulldogs really have been playing a lot of good basketball games. As you said, adjusting their style. It's been a lot of back and forth, and I think they've been able to play some competitive games and still trying to get that first win. But they're right in this game here. I think Coach Karpowitz calling a timeout, a mini run there from Grand Haven in the second quarter, calling a timeout, settling things down. Even when they were turning the basketball over, trying to force it into the post, they were eventually able to go back to it and understand when the timing's going to be right to make that pass down there. It's not something you completely have to abandon. It's just you got to set it up and it's got to be there before you force it in.
All right, a lot more to get to here. Second half going to be up right after this. In fact, I think it's probably going to end up wrapping up our Centennial Securities halftime show. Do not go anywhere. Second half underway. Grand Haven by 2 at the break in the girls' contest. We will be right back.
Can you name the 10 winners of the Nobel Peace Prize or the last 5 Miss Americas? The point is the applause dies and the achievements are forgotten. But can you name 3 friends who helped you through tough times or teachers who encouraged you in school? We remember those who make a difference in our lives. I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. What matters to us are the personal relationships we have with our clients, helping them build a secure financial future. As a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
Daniel the deer danced everywhere. He pranced through fields and jigged through rivers. Then he saw it. What a stage! A place no deer had dared dance before. The hood of a brand new car. And the car was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Deer Dance Floor, December 1st, 2014. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Need to replace that worn-out carpet or floor? Floor Coverings International makes it easy. They bring their mobile showroom to you. Save yourself the trip and gas shopping around. See a wide selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, and vinyl in the lighting of your own home. Go to floorcoveringsinternational.com today for your free consultation. Work with one team for a hassle-free experience from the quote to installation. And each Floor Coverings International business is independently owned and operated, so they are local business owners in our community. Floor Coverings International, the flooring store at your door.
Are you looking for a new career? Aetna Supply is hiring. Aetna Supply is Michigan's #1 plumber wholesaler, servicing local customers for over 50 years. They offer great benefits, a 401k with company match, quarterly bonuses, and no Sundays. Once again, check them out at aetnasupply.com/careers or click on their logo on the Michigan Sports Radio homepage.
All right, welcome back, Vanderslice Gymnasium, and thanks for tuning in to the Centennial Securities halftime show. Second half on deck. Nate CT back with you. Lineups that open the game, open the second half, and the Bulldogs get the basketball to start the second half, down just 2 at the break. What kind of half is it going to be? We're definitely on pace to first to 40 wins. That's been the general style in this contest. Grandville has slowed down some of what Grand Haven wants to do, and because of that, we'll see what we have in the second half. Grand Haven opens man-to-man defenses. Fisher able to find McKellar in the soft spot. Here's Rakowski jabbing and driving in on Grace Harrison. Can't get the finish. Rakowski her own board. Rakowski for Highbore. In the paint, blocked, foul. They'll get Maddie Shop, and that will send Highbore to the line. She will have a chance to knot the game at the charity stripe. First foul of the half comes on Grand Haven. Well, just 5 total fouls between the two teams in the first half of play, and one early on here against the Buccaneers as the Bulldogs get it to their post Highbore, who's able to hit the first of the line. And I think that is key. They wanted to do it, CT. They had some issues sometimes, but I think getting Highbore in safer post-up positions will be pretty key for what they want to do. Cannot hit the second. And Grand Haven will start the offense. Jillian Sorrell, we'll say the Sorrell name a lot this evening, of course, with her brother coming up later on as well. Has it into the wing here for Emerson Burnt, who is the leading scorer, tied for the leading scorer in the first half. Harrison swings corner. Sorrell at the block. Berkey gets the touch and able to bat it out to her own player at the corner. Harrison, and it swung around again. So Grand Haven grinding on this possession. Nice move into the paint by Burnt. She's fouled, and now we just have a foul fest back and forth after none early. I guess that's the other thing that could probably change the course of this game, is we didn't have many fouls at all in the first half. Of course, neither team were driving to get a lot of those foul calls, but if you see more of them, that also changes the strategy of the contest. And she hits the first. 8 now for the Buccaneer junior. Second will not fall. Remains a 2-point game, but the Bucks get the possession on to Harrison. Drive from Sorrell, no. Rebound to Gregoire. Gregoire tied up. Alternating possession stays with Grand Haven. Good work by Grandville to get back defensively. I was kind of caught him off guard. If you saw, Nia Fisher was standing back talking to Coach Carpwoods and the Bulldog coaching staff, and then wound up having to run back into the backcourt when that ball did get rebounded by the Buccaneers. Here's Sorrell feeding Berkey, able to slip around McKellar, but McKellar maybe getting the arm out, or the leg out, I should say, a little bit right there. Draws another foul. So after 5 total fouls in the first half, we have 3 in the first minute of the second half, and Grand Haven keeps it down low, 6:56 in the second, 22-20. Burnt looking for the inbound and instead throws it off the feet of Gregor, who is face guarding. We'll do it again. Well, this game's ground down to a halt based on how we started. We would have gotten half a quarter done in the first half of the way we were playing, and what it took to get a minute done here. Sorrell on the wing, defended by Fisher. Feeds to Berkey, reaching around McKellar. Cannot score on the pull-up, and the rebound to Gregor, and the Bulldogs to take it. Rakowski the ball. 6:47 in the third. Both teams have hit and missed one free throw in this half. McKellar was spaced for the lead. No, missed it all. And Grand Haven, the board back the other way with Berkey. Berkey swings onto the sprinting Sorrell, who scores in the full court. Jillian Sorrell gets the full court push onto her, and Grand Haven goes up 2 scores, I should say, as they get a little opportunistic right there, CT, out of a game that was kind of lulling both teams to sleep early. Hybor drives, scores. Again, the Bulldogs targeting Sydney Hybor. She's got 5, and they're back within a score. And a 30-second timeout is awarded, and we will keep it right here with you all. The Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame celebrates the city's rich sports history by honoring prominent West Michigan athletes and those who have contributed greatly to sports on a local, state, or national level. The GRSHOF also presents annual events in support of West Michigan athletics and raises funds to support local youth organizations and charities. Follow the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame on Facebook and check out pictures and biographies of all 181 inductees at GRSHOF.com. All right, Chandler, tough second half so far to get a read on, but I think we've seen looks and glimpses of what both teams want to do. Grandville wants to grind it, get it into the post, and Grand Haven, I think, wants to run in the full court like they did last time, and they're able to get it on a shop right here, sprinting into the open floor. Kicks a pass to the corner. Up top, Burnt went on the up fake move as she had Fisher closing late. Shop drives from the wing, blocked by Gregor. Good work by the Bulldogs to somehow turn that into a block and not a bounds play with the way that the possession started to a sprinting Maddie Shop, beating the pressure. Gregor will take a seat, and Perez will come in here for the Bulldogs.
After the pressure got beat, they had to quickly try to regroup. Eventually able to get back in position now defensively.
Lost pass off the pressure, out of bounds, Grandville basketball. So just a little over 2 minutes gone in this third frame, 24-22. And Rakowski will run the Bulldog offense here. Rakowski, Fisher, drives, nice move, cannot get the touch, and the board to Harrison and the Buccaneers. Grace Harrison, senior point guard, will run the offense. Goes around that screen, add Fisher on the defense. Sorrell, Shop, Berkey, the post touch, the turn, can't score over top of Highborn on the second effort. The Bulldogs get it again with a sprinting Anaya Fisher. Fisher swings to Rakowski, steps into the triple, no. Had just a sliver of space, cannot hit, and the board down to Burnt. Shop feeds Berkey. Berkey feeds a wing three that's no good from Grace Harrison. Rakowski the board. Both teams trading misses right now as we go inside 5 minutes in the third. Perez, handoff Fisher. Fisher drives, Perez a long one, no, and the rebound again down to Grand Haven and Harrison. Both teams fighting it right now, CT, in the shot battle, but Harrison going to try to up the pace to make something happen. Feeds Sorrell, drives, bottom of the rim, no, grabs her own board. Berkey, corner, triple try, Shop off the mark, rebound Rakowski, and another lost possession as it's just misses, as I said, being traded right now.
Yeah, both teams hitting a bit of an offensive lull. It's been some shots quicker in the possession, but neither team able to capitalize off of it.
Rakowski to the line or to the lane is blocked. Harrison to take it and run the length of the floor. Trying to create again. Harrison on the full court rush. Misses, gathers the rebound. Grand Haven looking to keep the possession. Diving in there's Rakowski. She'll rip it away. And a timeout was awarded to Coach Karpwich. She wants a quick 30 seconds on that. 3:55 in the third, 24-22. Grand Haven, about 2 minutes of just back and forth misses of, again, it sped the game up, but ground down some of the scoring, despite the pace being upped just slightly. Scott Bates is your local Grandville, Jenison, and Hudsonville Farmers Insurance agent, and is a great long-time supporter of Game Night and offers business insurance, auto, homeowners coverage, and more. Give Scott a call today at 616-531-3441 or stop in the agency located at 3181 Prairie Street Southwest in Granville. 3:55, third quarter. Out of the timeout, the Bulldogs will get the ball right here as both teams right now, Chandler, just trying to find a little bit of an answer offensively as despite some pace and despite some open look shots not falling, everything for both teams a little rushed right now.
Yeah, the Bulldogs especially have been early in the possession attacking. They've had some open looks for it, but I think they were having some more success when they were setting things up, allowing their offense to play itself out.
Grand Haven kind of gave that little bit of a 2-3 matchup look before settling into their man. McKellar stripped of the ball by Harrison. The Bulldogs keep it along the baseline. 3:36 in the third. 24-22, still Grand Haven. Not much scoring. Remember, it's 21-19 at the half. Straight steal from Grace Harrison on the inbound. Perez able to pressure and stop the full court over the timeline race. Out of the double team trap, a foul called on the Bulldogs and Perez. 3:28 in the third, 24-22. Stays with, actually they'll give the foul to Fisher. Her first, third on the Bulldogs. 4 total in this half between the two sides. Fed to Jillian Sorrell, the sophomore guard, has not scored yet, and now throws one away looking for Harrison. The Bulldogs take the possession again.
Both teams just looking very uncomfortable right now throughout this second half. Still just 6 points scored combined, and now we're starting to see some turnovers and some forced passes that aren't there as well.
Fisher going to slow things down a little bit. 3:17 in the third. Sorrell hit the deck. McKellar faces her up. Perez the drive, cut off. Stays with it, looking for McKellar. Stolen away by a reaching Jillian Sorrell. All the way to the basket for the sophomore. Stripped and blocked by McKellar. Stays with Grand Haven, 24-22. Again, I like the setup offensively for the Bulldogs there. Slowed it down a little bit, but another turnover will end what was a promising start.
Sorrell for the Buccaneers still trying to get going as well. She got a couple points earlier in the quarter, trying to get out in the fast break there, but stopped at the rim.
Harrison puts it off her own foot out of bounds along the baseline, and the Bulldogs will take it. 2:56 in the third, 24-22. Dowlett has checked back in a couple possessions ago here for the Bulldogs. See her top of the key is Fisher. Lobs for DeVries, also fresh in there. Stolen, ripped away. And a foul called on Emma Perez, who had a nice kind of twisting form tackle right there. On the diving, I think it was Sorrell that got possession first. 4th foul on the Bulldogs, and now Rakowski will check back in here for Perez. With 2:40 in the third, 24-22. Amazing the way we started in this quarter, how quickly things have slowed down offensively. Sorrell jumps it to Harrison around the screen. Fisher reaching. Harrison keeps the possession. Attacking into the lane. Berkey thought about the shot. Drive, no. Rebound, Bulldogs. Chased ahead here by Rakowski. Rakowski, baseline drive. Floater, rims out. Rebound stays with the Dogs, and McKellar in rhythm, yes, and a foul and a chance to take the lead. A game that kind of got lulled to sleep. McKellar brings the gym to their feet and has a chance to take the lead right here. She already now is in double digits with 10, our first double-digit scorer for their side of the contest.
The Bulldogs finally had some numbers their way in the transition, able to push it. Rakowski got baseline, missed the shot a little strong, but McKellar there to put it back.
McKellar unable to give the Bulldogs the advantage back, and the rebound on to Eden Smith, who's fresh out there. Stolen straight away by Fisher. Drives with power. Can't get the roll, but a foul. And Fisher goes to the line. Off the steal, the Bulldogs attacking the rim and going to the line. They'll have to convert at the line, but it's something potentially to watch with how they've looked to attack this game early. Third team foul on Grand Haven, and foul number 1 on Eden Smith. 2:06 in the third, all knotted at 24. A game that's turning into first to 30 wins at this point in time. Fisher able to hit the first, and the Bulldogs go back on top. And that gets Anaya Fisher on the score sheet for the first time. Kind of hard to believe. She's been pretty active in the offense, but just getting on the score sheet now, and maybe she'll heat up down the stretch. We've seen her do that before, certainly. Fisher cannot convert the second. Bulldogs just stay up 1. They bring the pressure, and the pressure forces another turnover. A bit of indecision from the official immediately, but Grandville keeps it. Rakowski to throw in over top of Sorrell with 2:03 in the third. Fisher for Dowett. Cutting along the baseline, Rakowski. DeVries handles it. A lot of pressure down low from Grand Haven. Fisher backing, hands off. Rakowski, space, floater. Had a tough angle on that one and cannot hit. Grand Haven takes it on the chase out of bounds. Bulldog boys disagree with the call. They're thinking it maybe should have gone back the other way. It will be Grand Haven ball on the Bulldogs. The 1-point advantage with 1:42 in the third. Stolen by Rakowski, able to get the reach and chase it down the floor. Rakowski with numbers along with Fisher. She'll go to the line for 2 more. Again, active hands, a game that, I want to use the term lulled to sleep again a little bit. The Bulldogs upping the intensity defensively, getting some steals, and at least getting a couple chances for easy baskets at the line out of it.
Yeah, Rakowski just able to read the eyes of the Buccaneers there. Even if that pass had gone through, it looked like there was a cutting player to where that pass was going to be, so it was going to be going out of bounds regardless. But Rakowski able to jump it, get a hand in there, and turn that into momentum, go in the offensive direction for her.
Highborn and Wojtaszek each in. Rakowski now with 8 points after the first at the line, has a chance to make it a 3-point lead and knocks down that high-arcing free throw. She's got 9, and the Bulldogs have a 3-point advantage. They bring a little bit of pressure. The forward Berkey able to chase it, trying to find Wojtaszek. They go a little quick, and it's a turnover. The Bulldogs have found their advantage right now, Chandler. It's the opposite of what you maybe think. They've sped the game up, and that's where they found their advantage in the second half, especially at least in the last couple of minutes as they've taken the lead back away.
Yeah, earlier the Buccaneers were trying to get out and run and beat the Bulldogs defense to getting set, but now that's leading them into some turnovers and some passes that aren't there.
Rakowski does it all herself and will go to the line. I think that's the number one feature of this offense. I've, for a couple years now, been saying I think I want to see more of. Rakowski is such a dangerous slasher, has good handles, and she does not care to attack the lane with reckless abandon, take the contact. She'll go to the line. That's foul number 2 on Jillian Sorrell, by the way. And that's a bit of a lucky touch at the line as Rakowski stays perfect at the line, 28-24.
Good things seem to happen when Rakowski gets aggressive, driving the basketball downhill. Even if the shot doesn't go in sometimes, there's still some offensive rebounds there and gets the offensive kind of set up. It doesn't have to be super early in the possession, but when it ends that way, good things often happen for this Bulldogs offense.
Rakowski now the Bulldog leading scorer with 11. 9 total fouls between the two sides in this first half. We had 5 in the second half. We had 5 in the first half in total. Buccaneers work it around with space. Burnt tries the 3. Cannot knock it down. Chase to the corner. And the Bulldogs take it out of there. Racing Rakowski with numbers. Lobs to Fisher to the basket. Gets the touch and scores. 31-24. The Bulldogs again in the full court going for a run. Fisher with 3. And she'll bring the pressure on Sorrell. Sorrell drives, kicks, mid-range. Berkey misses it all. Rebound Rakowski. And she'll settle it down for the half-court possession and maybe a chance to hold for the final shot and take this advantage into the second half. A wave of momentum running both ends of the floor. Great play right now for the Bulldogs. Anaya Fisher, high board coming up top. Dump to the driving McKellar. Back to Fisher corner. Fisher for Highbore, backing against Berkey. feeds free throw line. Dowlett with 11 from the line, no. Rebound McKellar, pushes it in the lane, cannot score. Grand Haven to run with 6. They stop Harrison backcourt, loses it, and it goes Grandville's way with 2.6. Another turnover forced by the tenacious full court Bulldog defense.
Well, the Bulldogs doing everything they can. They're able to stop the offensive movement there, and now force one more turnover and one more chance here at the end of the third.
Greg, we're back in for Dowlett, so maybe a little bit more shooting, or at least then some post size for the Bulldogs as well right here, as they will go 4 out with Highborn in the post. She'll be defended and fronted by Berkey. Rakowski to lob. First look was to Highborn, got it. Fisher with 2. She'll just fling it up. And that brings us to the end of the third. She was mostly looking for the contact and quite frankly nearly had a chance to get it. Don't go anywhere. 31-24. What a run by the Bulldogs at the second half of the third quarter. They take a good advantage in the final frame. We'll be right back.
Looking for a great place to buy a used truck or car? Check out Extreme Truck and Auto Center, located at 1098 O'Malley Drive in Coopersville. They have a huge selection of trucks, cars, vans, and SUVs. Stop by their lot or give them a call at 616-384-3777. You can check out their inventory at xtacenter.com.
And welcome back. Nate Dreyer, Chandler Timmer with you at Vanderslice Gymnasium this evening. Go to the final frame, 31-24. Bulldogs were down 21 to 19 at the half. Both ends of the floor, they're doing it right now, CT. The full court defense, the full court offense. That's what was the key to Coach Karpowitz's squad, able to take the lead and expand the advantage throughout the third quarter.
The Bulldogs defense keeping the Buccaneers out of sync, holding them to 3 points there in the third quarter. Only 7 in the first quarter, so it was that second quarter where the Buccaneers able to get something going offensively, but the Bulldogs now trying to close it out now that they've got themselves a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, Bulldogs get the ball to start the final frame of play. Rakowski will set it up, defended by Harrison. Swings for the senior guard, Olivia McKellar. Both McKellar and Rakowski in the double-digit scoring. That one's knocked out of bounds by Maddie Schopp, able to get it away from Tessa Gregor. And the Bulldogs keep it. Gregor to throw in. 31-24, 15 seconds off our final frame clock. Gregor lobs for Fisher, stolen away by a leaping Emerson Burnt, and she'll run with it. Burnt going to attack Highborn one-on-one and scores off the window. So finally, Grand Haven gets back on the board. The junior guard Burnt now has 11 in the contest, and they will settle into half-court defensive looks right here as McKellar will walk it up for the Bulldogs on to Rakowski. I mean, for Grandville, lead by 5. I think a good chance to try to take some time off the clock and make sure you get the best shot possible throughout this fourth quarter. Fisher drives through a trio of defenders, can't get the roll. Highborn the fight for the rebound, keeps it on. Mid-range Jay Gregor rattles out off the mark. Rebound down to Fisher, bumping bodies in the lane, no, through the contact. And the rebound on a shot, she'll force it back to the way for the Buccaneers. It's Berkey, dumps, Harrison scores. Back-to-back quick buckets. Harrison now with 7. And the Bulldogs will slow it down again. 6:52 in the fourth, 31-28. That's a little bit more of how you probably expected Grand Haven to play, upping the pressure and scoring that way. It was a reversed role in the third quarter.
A couple buckets the Grand Haven girls desperately needed there. Get some numbers, get some easy baskets to try to open things up.
Rakowski, tough long shot, will not go. She misses it all. The Bulldogs bring the pressure here on Sorrell. Sorrell able to beat it through a pair of defenders. Feeds to the corner. The intended target was Schopp. She now will get it. Drive from Grace Harrison into the lane. Loston regathers. Through the hands of Sorrell. Grandville basketball again off the turnover. DeVries checks in for Highborn as Coach Karpowitz has kind of kept that post matchup swapped up between the two of them. 6:17 in the fourth, 31-28. Rakowski to slow it down right here. Nearly 2 minutes gone in the final frame. The final frame, 4-0 right now. The advantage for Grand Haven. The Bulldogs, though, lead it by 3. Triple header of action on MGM. The unified game, Bulldogs and Kenowa Hills, always a fun one coming up. Rakowski drives, baseline, nice reaching pass. Somehow got it to Gregor on to Fisher in rhythm. Triple no. Sorrell the board. Bumped into by DeVries. Fisher, the pressure, Sorrell stopped, but flips it over the timeline to Harrison. Back on to Jillian Sorrell. Euro, left hand, good. Grand Haven within one. Sorrell now with 4 as she shows off the moves right there in the lane.
Yeah, Sorrell able to get open after Fisher near the half-court line, trying to jump the passing lane and get a hand in there. Allowed Sorrell to have a running start. She got in the lane.
Bulldogs by 1 with 5:17 in the fourth. Anaya Fisher, the screen from DeVries. Gregor, step back 3, good. Tessa Gregor knocks it down. She's got 5. I think I've seen that family hit a shot a lot like that in the past, and the Bulldogs go up 4.
Big shot there to get the momentum back for the Bulldogs just a little bit as the Buccaneers closing it in. They had a couple baskets to start the fourth quarter, and the Bulldogs offensively not a whole lot, but Greg were able to step out and knock down the 3.
Out of the pressure, shot tied up. They're actually going to get a foul on it on the Bulldogs, so 5 fouls now on either side, 4:45 in the fourth. Speaking of the Gregors, by the way, tomorrow night, not an MGN broadcast, but I think I mentioned it Tuesday, tune in to the AQ Sports Network. Aquinas takes on Grace. I'm on the call actually filling in for that game. And, of course, former Bulldog Tommy Gregor plays for the Saints. He's been starting the last few games as well. Timeout on the floor as some of the coaching staff for Grand Haven is going to also come over for a quick word with the official. 4:45 in the final frame, 34-30 is the Grandville advantage. Centennial Securities is a community service-focused, locally owned investment firm with strong Midwestern values. Since the day they opened their doors in 1978, they have and will continue to recognize that it's not prudent to take a one-size-fits-all approach to investing. Check out Centennial Securities online at centennialsec.com. Give you a little bit of a inside look right here. We got new features all over the place here at the broadcast booth. WAWL, Eric Kalin, the former owner of Michigan Game Night, to our side here. But CT, interesting second half. We saw the Bulldogs up the pace and come back and take the advantage. Then Grand Haven up the pace themselves, and that's where they were able to now close things back down. For a moment, back down to a one-score game. Grandville takes it back with a triple a little bit.
Yeah, big triple from Greg were there. They had struggled offensively the first couple of possessions. They were trying to go slow, which I think was the right call, trying to work some clock, but the shots not falling, and a couple quick baskets going the other way for the Buccaneers, so needed some momentum back there and able to do so.
Harrison out of the timeout, drives on Rakowski all the way to the lane, and a foul call. They'll get Gregor on the whistle, 16 foul on the Bulldogs, so now free throws the rest of the way for Grand Haven, including the 2 at the line right here for Grace Harrison. 7 for Harrison in the game. That's 3 fouls, by the way, and Gregor, who's seen kind of on and off the floor because of some foul trouble. Grand Haven within a score, 34-31. After the first goes for Harrison, but Harrison's so tough, the way that she drives and is able to get to the line. I think that'll be a big part of what they're looking to offensively. Harrison hits them both. She has 9 now offensively. And again, the Bulldogs will slow it down a little bit. And Grand Haven will up the pressure. They bring out that little trapping 2-3 half-court zone defense. DeVries on the floor. The steal to the Buccaneers. It's ripped out of there and taken by Berkey. Harrison to run the offense with 4.5 in the fourth. 34-32. They can tie or take the lead here. Harrison swings, corner, shot, long 2 to the tie. No. Rebound out of bounds as it was a good attempt by Sorrell. Can't quite hang on to it. And an important possession right here for the Bulldogs to settle the game back down, have an official timeout. As Perez will come in for Gregor. Also, Highborg comes in for DeVries. So maybe their last chance, based on the way this goes, to get a rest in the contest. And again, that 2-3 extended zone is out, and it's lobbed to Rakowski. Highborg to Rakowski with space. Triple. No. And it'll go Grand Haven's way, but I think a good idea for the Buccaneers. The Bulldogs just seem a little uncomfortable right now when that half-court trapping 2-3 has been brought out.
Yeah, they've shown it a couple times, but now in the crunch here, the last 4 minutes of the game, breaking it out, trying to get some turnovers there, even, and so able to force Rakowski into a open look, but a quick shot in the possession, which I think the Bucs will take at this point.
3:50 and less to go. Stolen by Rakowski off the errant pass, and she'll try to slow it down. Grand Haven won't be able to set up the trap the way they quite want to here with the transition push. McKellar with 3:38. The screen from Highborg has a lane in. Off the runner, no. Put back Highborg will go to the line. Great job by Highborg to somehow get in there, get that board, and now we'll get a couple chances at the line. 34-32, Bulldogs by 2, looking for their first win of the year within OK Red play. That's foul number 2 on Shop, and now 6 on either team, so free throws the rest of the way. First one, pure good for Hybor. Hybor now is 6 and Hybor now is 7. And the Bulldogs extend that advantage to 36-32. Sorrell will flip it to Harrison. Berkey feeds the cutting Burnt, who's able to get the score. 12 now for Emerson Burnt. And Grand Haven back within 2 with 3:15 in the fourth. Rakowski for McCallum again. Good chance for the Bulldogs here. You have this one-score lead. Try to take some time off the clock because Grand Haven's been pushing it back. Good work by Fisher in the lane. Can't get the finish. Another board for Hybor and the putback good. Sydney Hybor with 9, putting the Bulldogs on her back right now in the post.
Yeah, a couple very strong possessions for Hybor. Tried to get the entry pass down low to Fisher as she was out on the outside, but then able to come back inside and get the basket.
Sorrell defended by Perez. Stays with Grand Haven on the punch out. 2:41. Wojciech comes back in. Shop takes a seat. Seen Grand Haven go as much as 7 deep, and now they will call a timeout with 2:41 to go. 38-34 Grandville. We'll be right back.
Jerry opened the letter. An eviction notice? He and his family couldn't bear to move again. It was warm and they had plenty of space for their acorns. Anxiety took a hold of him. Then suddenly,
you've got squirrels in your engine and they chew through the wiring.
And it was covered, thanks to a farmer's agent. Engine Bay Squatters, May 23rd, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today at 616-531-3441. Your local farmer's agent who helps you plan for the unexpected.
I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities. I've heard it said that professional coaches measure success in rings, college coaches measure success in championships, and high school coaches measure it in titles. But youth coaches measure success in smiles. At Centennial Securities, we're like the youth coach. Our success is measured by the smiles on the faces of our satisfied clients. If you're a Centennial Securities customer, you know what I mean. If you're not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
All right, welcome back to Grandville. 2:41 in the fourth. The Bulldogs lead by a pair of scores, and Kendall Wojciech, the senior center, to throw in here for Coach Kowalczyk, Fulmer, and the Buccaneers. Again, out of pack will be the inbound right here. Swung corner Berkey. Sorrell. Defended by Perez. Fisher picks up the defense on Burt. Back up top. Sorrell. Forced out by the reach from Rakowski. Stays with Grand Haven. 2.5 in the fourth, 38-34. Sorrell for Harrison. Berkey. Drive from Emerson Burnt, the leading scorer for Grand Haven. Sorrell lost it. Great job to reach by Rakowski. And she'll settle it down. Another steal for Rakowski.
Nice active hands from Rakowski all night long, making things difficult in some passing lanes, and then nice recognition too. Probably could have pushed it, would have had a 1-on-2 situation, could have gone to the basket, but realizing time is on their side right now.
Sorrell, the reach, nearly had a steal back the other way, but Fisher able to gather the ball. Nice move. Burnt all over Rakowski as Grand Haven is upping the pressure. The Bulldogs playing some keep away though as we go inside 150 in a 2-score Bulldog lead. Rakowski across the floor. Full timeout called by Coach Karpowitz to settle the game down just a little bit, and I think that probably is not the worst call on her behalf. We'll stay with you here through the timeout, but Grandville able to survive the defensive possession, get the miss, get the ball, and then pretty expertly just kind of start swinging it around right there to try to keep it away from their opponent and get the best opportunity they can out of it.
Yeah, I think Rakowski able to dribble it away for some pressure there. Coach Karpowitz just allowing the Bulldogs offensively to play keep away and until they were in a situation where the Buccaneers were going to have to extend their pressure as far as they could, and I think calling a timeout now to try to regroup, kind of come up with a game plan here for if they're going to try to draw something up to get a bucket or if they're going to continue to play keep away.
The last thing I need are new toys to play with in terms of how do we add completely unnecessary shots to the broadcast like this one. That's exactly what we have going on right here. We'll break it out of the timeout one more time. Well, we don't have to sit down then. When we put on the air camera, we have to sit down. It's a whole thing.
We're
now
lazy,
you can just keep talking. Right. I can just press a button and move the camera over. There you go. It's easy. That's what we need, because that's definitely this radio broadcast certainly needs more features. I need more stuff to set up. That's the number one thing we need at the start of the day. Rakowski to throw in. There's a basketball game going on. Rakowski never able to reestablish herself in bounds, and Grand Haven will take it off of that. A good heady play by Rakowski to take that batted ball back, but ultimately did not establish herself in, and it will go Grand Haven's way. Sorrell to the cutting Wojciech. No, Grand Haven keeps it with 90 seconds. Long two from Burnt. Off the rim, grabs her own board, and will go to the line for a couple. Second chances, the number one thing the Bulldogs don't want to give up. Force a miss, make sure you're taking it back the other way. There's time coming off the clock, not a second scoring chance. And this can bring Grand Haven, with even just 1 of 2 at the line for Burnt, back within a score.
Yeah, the Bulldogs defense had survived the first couple of looks for the Buccaneers. They had allowed Wojciech to roll to the basket wide open and miss the shot, and then another offensive rebound, survived that, but eventually committed the foul, and now some free throw shots.
13 now for Burnt, by the way, and that's team foul number 7 on the Bulldogs, and the first on Hybor. Able to knock them both down, so a 2-point game. Burnt with 14, and Grand Haven brings the full court pressure. Perez fouled in the backcourt. She will go to the line for a 1-and-1. Both teams into the bonus. 1:23 in the fourth, 2-score game, or 2-point game, I should say. So Grand Haven kind of in between it. They're obviously not going to play the foul game at this point in time. They're more still into the steal game, but they do give up the foul right there, and they will send the Bulldog junior Perez to the line. Eden Smith was out there briefly. She'll check back out. I think she and Wojciech with foul trouble will probably be going defense for offense quite a bit. Perez able to put the Bulldogs up 3, and she will have another going. More here for the Bulldogs sophomore at the line. Unable to convert the second. Wojciech the board. Sorrell to run the offense. On to the sprinting Grace Harrison. 1:16 to go. Grandville by 3. The Bulldogs looking for their first win in the OK Red this year. Sorrell to Berkey. Corner for Harrison. Around the Berkey screen. Perez the defense. Swings it to Burnt. Stops. Spins. Fisher the pressure. Wojciech looking back for Burnt. Able to reach it to her. Sorrell drives, basket, yes, and one. Sorrell, a chance to knot it at the line with a tough reaching shot through the contact. Rakowski wants a bit of an explainer, I think, to her on the contact, but it's there. That's foul number 2 on Rakowski. Smith checks back in, and Sorrell, a big one for the sophomore at the line to knot it.
Yeah, down just the one possession there. The Bucks could allow time to run out. They could really set up their offense. It's been in the half court where they struggled most of the night, but they're able to get Sorrell downhill where she can be aggressive, and then able to make the Buccaneers get them a reward for allowing the time to play out and get that possession set up.
45 seconds to go. We're tied at 39. Great start to the night in this one. And Coach Karpowitz is going to call for the timeout. Full timeout with 37 seconds. We're knotted at 39. Do not go anywhere. Not like you were going to go anywhere with this one coming down to the end.
The sinister cries haunted Mary through the night. Dawn neared, and still the voice tormented her. She ran towards the safety of her car, flung open the door, and a coyote had somehow gotten locked inside. But the damaged interior was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Coyote Carpool, August 1st, 2015. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Contact the Scott Bates Agency today, 616-531-3441. A proud supporter of MichiganGameNight.com.
Can you identify your number one personal trait? The thing that you do better than most others? If not, this may be a good time to think this through. If you're really good at writing, then why use the phone? If you're great on the phone, why use email? If you have exceptional human relation skills, why sit back and let others lead? I'm Randy Hansen, president of Centennial Securities Company. Playing to our strengths is something we do very well at Centennial. And if you're already a customer, you know what I mean. If not, isn't it about time?
Member SIPC and FINRA.
All right, welcome back. Out of the Bulldog timeout. Over and back on Rakowski. Just a blown opportunity. We lose the lights, and it'll go back the other way. Now the lights are back, and it'll go back the other way to Grandville, but a big mistake right there from Gracie Rakowski, CT.
The entry pass to Rakowski is she was running into the backcourt and had possession before she crossed the line, and the Bulldogs called the timeout to set up that play, but then unable to get the ball inbounds.
Now Coach Kowalczyk-Fulmer will call a timeout of her own and try to reset a little bit of what Grand Haven wants to do. So a blown opportunity there for the Bulldogs, and you certainly can expect Grand Haven 35.9. How much time are you trying to kill? That's one thing. It's a tough time in terms of what's left. Tie game, 35 seconds. That's a lot of time to kill. That's a lot of opportunities for 5-second calls and for turnovers, but at the same time also, you don't want to be giving opportunities back the other way. That's going to be the push and pull here to decide.
Yeah, I think you saw the Buccaneers defensively looked like they were going to really force the issue. They were playing some man-to-man defense, going to force the Bulldogs into a mistake, and they did so. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Bulldogs go right back the same way, try to force the Buccaneers to make something happen. I think I'm always a proponent of giving yourself a chance at the end, and so just to sit back and let the Buccaneers run some clock off and get the last chance, I think you try to be aggressive here and you take the risk that maybe you commit a foul, but you're going to get the basketball back with a chance to at least tie where you've got the ball in your hand at the last shot.
All right, let's reset game 1 of 3 tonight. Grandville and Grand Haven tied at 39 with 35.9 to go. And the midcourt inbound coming on up. Swung backcourt to Sorrell. The sophomore run the offense, defended by fellow sophomore Perez. Here's Harrison, the senior guard. Chased by Rakowski. Back Sorrell with 27. Sorrell. Fisher brings some pressure. Dumps it corner Harrison. They're looking for the final shot, it would appear, with 13. Harrison across the floor looking for Burnt. Stolen away by Fisher. Anaya Fisher all the way to the basket. No good on the right hand. Crash in the lane. And a travel will keep it with the Bulldogs. The Bulldog faithful wanted a couple fouls first, but with 4 seconds now, they call a timeout, and now they will have the final chance at the end. But one heck of a play by Anaya Fisher right there.
Very impressive defensively, able to move the feet, get out in front, force the mishandled basketball, and then able to gather it herself. Fisher trying to go coast to coast and get the winning basket there. A little bit too strong, but fantastic play on the defensive end. Able to get out in front and cut that off.
Look at Coach Karpowicz drawing this up right here for the Bulldogs. You have 4.1. We've seen the post touches for Hybor be effective. I think you're probably looking to a drive, maybe a screen, a ball screen to set something up, though, for 3 and white. I think Rakowski's the way you have to go.
I think Rakowski all night long has been pretty aggressive, taking some shots. Got 11 points on the night, and I think whether it's a shot from beyond the arc or whether you try to get her driving downhill, I think she's going to be able to try to make something happen. Of course, you're in the bonus here. Any foul, if you're able to get the Buccaneers to commit defensive foul, you're going to be shooting free throws, and I think Rakowski handling the basketball is going to be your best chance.
All right, let's break it out, and let's see how this one ends. Jim filling up. Unified game up next as well, and this could be quite the finish to this one. Grandville girls looking for their first OK Red win of the year. Tied at 39 with 4.1. Rakowski to trigger. Time running down. Has Perez. Backdoor. Blocked down low. Getting a hand on it is Berkey. Rakowski flips up top. They do not get the shot off in time. And we go to overtime in this one. Perez had a good look, but the rotation from Berkey was just a little bit better, and that's the difference. And for the first time this year on MGN, we have overtime. The first time we've had overtime in a long time. I think there was a boys basketball game last year, but it's been a while.
It has. I think the Bulldogs off that inbound, Rakowski was scanning, trying to find an outlet. Perez finally sprung free on the left block. A couple of his last possessions for Perez. She took a lot of contact in the lane. I'm not exactly sure that it was a foul, but she was getting taken out afterwards, taking some contact there, and I think the officials choosing to let it play out, and I think that's probably the right call, but still Perez took a lot of contact down low.
I mean, really down the stretch, they held the whistles on both sides, but I think the Bulldogs, the team that when you kind of look at the way it was played down the stretch, had a couple of the contact on Fisher on the drive, the contact on Perez there. I think they maybe would be asking for a foul or two that weren't given. Now I'll be curious to see the way that things may change going into the overtime period, because I think you can fully expect to see that sort of play continue for these two teams. They're trying to set up what they want to do on either end of the floor. All right, here we go. Perez, McKellar, Rakowski stay out there in the Bulldog backcourt along with Fisher and Hybor. We have pretty much not seen Coach Kowalczyk-Fulmer really make many substitutions to her unit at all in the second half, and that will remain true right here. Team switch sides. Hybor will jump on Berkey. 4 fresh minutes, and we go to OT. The game was moving along really quickly, so I suppose that means we go to overtime, as we're still going to take a full allotment on this one, which I don't think anyone's complaining about for as good of a contest as this has been. The Bulldogs have it to open off the one tip. McKellar for Hybor. Finds Perez, and she'll go to the line. Foul that time comes to Shop. 3:43 in the OT, 39-39.
Yeah, there's the foul I think Perez has been looking for a couple times down the floor. That one a lot more obvious, the hand to the arm as she was trying to go up in the middle of the lane for that shot attempt.
First one good, and the Bulldogs take the first advantage of the OT. Unable to hit the second. On the floor. Held ball is called. It'll go Grand Haven's way. So Buccaneers now get their chance. They trail by 1 after Perez was able to go 1 of 2 at the line. Harrison, Berkey, Sorrell. A lot of times games will slow down even more in overtime. Every shot becomes that much more important. Nice cut to the basket. Sorrell the finish, and Grand Haven goes up by a single point with a nice cut, a nice find from Berkey there as Sorrell able to drive and finish.
Yeah, Berkey, great vision from the right elbow, able to see Sorrell cut to the basket there and find her and get that pass right in stride.
Fisher drives into the lane looking for the contact. Rebound, Hybor, no. Through the entire Grand Haven team. One more for Hybor. She'll go to the line. The whole defense had closed in on the Bulldog post, and Hybor was able to fight through it, and she will go to the line to try to tie and try to take the lead. Has 2 here.
Looking for Hybor's size in the post area to be a big factor in the overtime, and off the missed free throw, able to get the jump ball and the tie ball situation. Got the possession for Grand Haven, and then here able to get her own miss and go back up with it. A chance at the free throw line.
Gregor in for Perez here as Hybor has 1 more at the line to try to tie after missing the front end. Unable to convert. Unfriendly rollout. Fisher chases to the corner, just unable to save that one. Another effort play from Anaya Fisher, trying to single-handedly drive the Bulldogs on ahead. 2:58 in overtime in Grand Haven. Maintaining 1-point lead, and they'll get it back. Jillian Sorrell to slowly take it up right here. Berkey sets the screen. Burnt drives, scores. Well set up play right there in the half court. Emerson Burnt now with 16 in the game, and Grand Haven leads by by 3 now. Drive McKellar into the lane, try to draw the contact on the shot. No, Burnt on the floor. A travel is called. It stays with the Bulldogs as Burnt went down. Perez checks in for Hybor. Bulldogs down 3, bring out essentially a 4-guard and then wing and Gregor lineup right here. Lob to McKellar. With 2.5 in overtime. Bulldogs trail by 3. Rakowski for Perez. Perez the lone point for the Bulldogs in this overtime period with the early free throw. Anaya Fisher on the wing. Bulldogs taking their time to set it up. Handoff for Rakowski. The Bulldog leading scorer has 11. Bouncing down to the elbow. Rakowski, step back 3 to tie. No, off the mark. And Grand Haven takes it. Decent look. Had a chance to go after a long possession. Now you have to really defend the crap out of the basketball.
Yeah, we've seen Rakowski make shots like that. She probes in the lane just a couple steps, see the defense back off, steps back to try to hit the open 3.
Gregor gets a hand on the inbound pass. It'll stay with Grand Haven. 2:02 in OT. Remember, don't go anywhere. The Unified game up next, so it kind of changes our normal, our post-game rhythm. We're going to do kind of a half post-game show, and then right into the Unified game, we'll have commercial-free coverage of that Unified game that will follow here. Inbound to Sorrell, able to beat some of the pressure on up the floor. Sorrell drives, handoff Berkey, no with the left, and the rebound down to Sorrell. Grand Haven keeps it with the lead. Whipped on to Harrison. 1:50 to go. Harrison drives, handoff, shot to the lane, good, and one. Maddie Shop, the junior, the chance for another at the stripe, 45-40. Grand Haven continues to execute very well in the overtime frame.
Yeah, good ball movement. So they were able to break the pressure, got the ball down. That was a fantastic effort from Anaya Fisher to contest the original shot. Forced the miss, but the second chance on the offensive rebound eventually going to hurt.
Unable to score, McKellar the board. Bulldogs trail by 5. McKellar with some pace. Long handoff to Anaya Fisher. All alone. Gregor, easy 2. Bulldogs back within a score. Gregor gets left all alone. And the Bulldogs convert. Now they trap. Burnt is fouled and grabbed, and that will be 2 at the line as Grand Haven is into the double bonus. Foul is on Rakowski.
The Bulldogs being very aggressive, had the trap on, and Rakowski not looking for the foul there. They were going to let that double team play out, see if they could force the turnovers. The 10-second clock still going there as well. Rakowski a bit surprised that foul called.
Burnt able to complete the first. She now has 16. Gregor will take a seat. Hyabor out there, a little bit more size in the post again here. Now down a couple of scores for the Bulldogs. Just under 90 seconds to go. Grandville will trail by 4 entering this possession. Final 1:20. Led pretty big at the end of 3 in a grinding tough game. Grand Haven comes back, tied at the end of regulation. Turnover, steal, Sorrell. 1:08 to go. Fisher blitzing in right there to knock it out of bounds, and Grand Haven stays with it. 1:06 in the 4th. Still a 4-point game. Now Grand Haven wants and will get their timeout right here to try to settle things down. They know the Bulldogs will be bringing the pressure on the inbound right here, and it's just, Chandler, though, was a lot of things for the Bulldogs, I think, in this overtime period that I think they'll be looking to in terms of if they had a second chance, how things maybe would have been attacked a little bit differently. I think you look at a couple turnovers, couple mistakes, and then at the same time, Grand Haven very good at executing when those mistakes may have come.
Yeah, I think the Buccaneers have kind of figured things out. They were very out of rhythm in that third quarter. Really, it was the first and third quarters where Bulldogs didn't necessarily dominate, but they were in control for a large part of those quarters, and that was the second and fourth where the Buccaneers kind of settled things in a little bit. And now it's kind of carried into this overtime period as well, where the Buccaneers have been a lot more under control. They've been able to break some of this pressure. That's when they've had their easiest looks offensively.
All right, both teams will break out of the huddles right here, and we'll go to work with just a little over a minute remaining in the overtime period from Vanderslice Gymnasium. First of a triple header this evening on a really fun Friday night. Unified game, Grandville, Kennewa Hills up next, and then the battle for first on the boys' side in the OK Red. So certainly don't go anywhere. A lot of great games on Michigan Sports Radio tonight, but if I'm being a little biased, I think there's one best place to be all evening long. Harrison drives on Rakowski with 59. Rakowski got a hand in there, but Harrison keeps. Out of the trap for Sorrell. Sorrell throws it away. Good job by the Bulldogs. They brought the half-court trap. They forced the turnover, and they're still just down 4 with 48.9. Very good chance coming out of it right here. Eden Smith comes in for Maddie Schopp. Remember's been battling a little bit more foul trouble, and they'll get Smith here on the matchup against Hybor. That might be somewhere the Bulldogs will look to. Rakowski feeds Fisher. Rotation, Smith onto her defensively. Smith reaching in, ball on the floor. Hybor crashes after it. Perez launches, but before she did, a timeout from Coach Karpowitz. 32.3, fourth quarter, 46-42. And a chance here out of the timeout to draw something up if you're the Bulldogs offensively. You have to be efficient. You have to get a good look. Regardless right here, but still can't take too much time. It remains that tough period when you're down 4 in this sort of setup.
Yeah, I think good timing on the timeout from Coach Karpowitz. They were able to get themselves out of what was turning into a bad offensive possession. I think Anaya Fisher was battling it a little bit. She really never had control of the basketball as she was trying to get to the corner, able to eventually maintain, get possession over to Perez, but a good timeout from Karpowitz, Coach Karpowitz there to resettle things back down, be able to draw something up out of the timeout here. They've struggled to get the ball in bounds off the timeout a couple times, but now gonna need a big one here after getting the stop defensively. Here's where you make it count by cutting this down to a 1-possession game.
Coach Karpowitz will stick with the same unit out of the timeout. Coach Kowalczyk-Falmer taking all of her time with that team. And the Bucks also break with the same unit. 32.3 in overtime, resetting the game. Grandville trails by 4, 46-42. Rakowski to lob for Fisher. Able to settle down over top of Berkey. Lob past McKellar with some space, the 3. Good! And the Bulldogs within 1 with 26 seconds. And they bring the pressure on. Knocked out of bounds along the baseline by McKellar. They'll have to inbound again. Nails down the hatch by Olivia McKellar. 22.5 in OT. The Bulldogs bring the full court pressure down to score. Schopp will check in for Smith. Perez to watch the inbound. Here's Schopp, double teamed in the corner, and a quick foul will come. I think they'll get Perez on it. It'll be 2 at the line here for Maddie Schopp. But regardless, the Bulldogs get the ball back. And worst case, you're down just a score with 20.8. What a shot by McKellar. In rhythm, triple, well drawn up play, and nails by the senior to knock it down. That might be the biggest shot of her career.
Yeah, that was huge for the Bulldogs. That was exactly what they had drawn up coming out of the timeout. Able to get the inbound pass, swing it over to McKellar. Able to fade in the wing area there, had the open look, knocks it down, and now you've allowed yourself, even if both these free throws go in, you've got a chance.
Schopp now with 5, 47-45 with 20.8. Of course, what you can run shrinks if the second one goes down here for Schopp, and it's a 3-point game, and that's exactly what it is. Whistles cut the air. Smith will check in for Schopp as the Bucks continue to go defense for offense there. Grand Haven will wait in the half court. They lead by 3 with 20.8 in overtime. A big triple from McKellar on the last possession. She's got it top of the key. Swings to Anaya Fisher. Fisher, wing McKellar, dumps Hybor, knocked out of bounds. Last touched by the reaching Eden Smith. It stays with the Bulldogs with 9.6. Now they quickly have to try to run something right here, and you're looking for a 3. Lobbed up top for McKellar. Swings to Anaya Fisher. Fisher back to McKellar. Deep 3 to tie. No, misses it all. Rebound Hybor with 2 seconds on the floor. Stolen. Grand Haven takes it. Harrison, and that will do it. 48-45. Somehow the Buccaneers able to win a thriller. The Bulldogs had some looks, CT, as we welcome you into our Scott Bates Farmers Insurance Agency postgame show. Bulldogs had some looks at it on that final possession, just not quite able to get it done, though.
Yeah, it was going to be a deep 3 from McKellar there. I believe Sorrell got a piece of it as she was going up. It was going to be a tough shot regardless, but McKellar just hit one to make this a more interesting game and give the Bulldogs a chance in the closing seconds. But the Buccaneers battled and able to come away with the victory after really struggling at times throughout the game, but eventually winning in overtime.
All right, we're going to do kind of a one segment. Bates Agency post-game show on this one. Let's go through quickly some of the scoring. We'll just run through it. Sorrel has 9 for Grand Haven, 7 for Berkey, 9 for Harrison. Burnt leads all scorers. She has 16, and then 6 for Shops, who was pretty top-heavy in the 48-45 win for the Buccaneers. Then look at Grandville, Rakowski, McKellar, of course, and Hybor lead the way for the Bulldogs. We'll go Centennial Securities player of the game, Emerson Burnt. First half especially, she was the leader. Third quarter offensively able to take it on for her side as you see the unified teams getting out onto the floor for Grandville and Kennewa Hills. They'll have it next, and we will have commercial-free coverage of the unified game presented by the Bates Agency and Centennial Securities. But CT, unified game up. This is always where things get fun in the gym. And I mean, if the rest of the night is anything like an overtime chance at the buzzer, I suppose it only is going to get better from here.
Yeah, things setting up to be a very interesting night. So far, you get a very good game in the first one between the girls. Now a great opportunity here for some really special moments in this unified game. It always is, and the opportunity that I've been able to watch games like this, and then another classic later on when the boys match up.
Coach Stiegel out there drawing things up. Actually, if you like Grandville football, we got a lot of it in the unified game, helping out Coach Stiegel, who of course helps run this program. You'll see Carson Smith and Braden LaCroix out there as part of the unified element here. I mean, such a great thing. It's not just straight Special Olympics like you might know. These unified games, the way that they're played, you have unified between some of the special needs kids along with the other kids like Carson Smith, Braden LaCroix that are out there helping their fellow classmates, and it's Kennewa Hills that have come to town tonight for the battle against the Bulldogs and Coach Stiegel's unit. I'm just going to call it Coach Stiegel's unit because that's something that's kind of built into the back of my head, what I'm normally going to say. So unified game is on deck right here. We got 1 on 5 to open things up potentially right here, as right now it looks like Daniel Guzman's ready to do it all on his own for Kennewa Hills. He doesn't need the rest of the coaching. He is ready to rock and roll. Here comes everyone else in the unified game is about ready to roll. What a fun part of the evening. Glad we have video coverage this year. Helps add a little bit more to this evening. So it's the Grand Haven girls picking up the first win of the evening, and we are about ready to go. Trevor Graves will jump on Guzman as we start this one. Braden LaCroix out there helping right now for the Bulldogs. Here we go. Tip straight on back to Erica Ringler, and she'll take possession to open up this game. 12 minutes on the board. Ringler drives into the Bulldog, will call it zone. Ringler, mid-range, no. Guzman chases it down. He started with a lot of energy, and he's able to knock it down. Daniel Guzman, he's right away back at it, too. He's ready to roll.
Yeah, you can see right from the get-go he was going to be ready to rock and roll here tonight. First one out on the floor, and then able to get the shooter's touch right away.
Grandville, very deep team they're able to bring to the table. The steal here from Erica Ringler. She'll take it into the lane. The defense comes from Trevor Graves, but Ringler able to score. Good start for Kennewa Hills in this one. They go up 4-0 early, bring the full court press, and they're able to get the early advantage. Jordan Papa to run the Bulldog attack. The full court pressure coming on again from Ringler here. First minute gone, 4-0 Kennewa Hills in the unified game. High reach on that one, and Guzman going to do it all himself. Unable to score on that one, the long attempt at it. Braden LaCroix will help set the ball up right here for Graves. Trevor Graves shifts, blocked by Guzman. Daniel Guzman has taken over the ball game, and he's got it back again right here. Guzman, coast to coast, cannot get the roll off the window. Braden LaCroix going to offset the offense here for the Bulldogs. Handoff here for Papa. I do what I can to keep it away from 22 Black right now.
I think so.
Whatever you have to do offensively, just keep it out of there, please. Mid-range J will not go for Trevor Graves. Bulldogs the board, and the putback will not fall for James Etster. Guzman on the rebound and the run. First 2 minutes gone in the unified game. Daniel Guzman, the reach there defensively from Papa. Guzman triggers the long one, no. Inside, Ringler cannot get the finish. Guzman able to get the board. Can't score. He'll get another chance and able to do it there. 6-0 Kenowa Hills. Good start for the Knights. The Bulldogs have to find the answer right here as Daniel Guzman continues to go to work on the boards.
Yeah, Guzman chasing the ball all over the place, able to get a couple looks at the basket.
I like that you just went in your normal analysis voice right there as well. What an unbelievable event this always is. Busby with the ball for the Bulldogs. Pressure coming on from Ringler. Lobs that one. Chase to the corner. LaCroix going to chase it down. He's going to do it himself. LaCroix, nice dump pass on to Etcher. Cannot get the roll. Braden LaCroix another board. And finally, the Bulldogs get on the board. Trevor Graves.
He was very close on the shot earlier. Got it over top of Guzman. Now able to get one to go the first points of the night for the Bulldogs. Looks like they're going to make some substitutions.
This is a Grandville team that's like 20 deep. A lot shorter bench for Kenowa Hills. They're around 10 deep or so in total for their unit. So Coach Stiegel, a lot to turn to as he's going into his bench and calling on players in either direction to get them out there. Kenowa Hills will start it up. Daniel Guzman will again run the break. Oh, he's sized up defensively. Getting in his face there's Tim Gillespie. I remember Gillespie from last year. He brought the energy for the Bulldogs. He and Guzman ready to rock and roll in this one. Board to Ringler. Ringler in the paint. Scores off the window. 8-2 Kenowa Hills. Alyssa Richard with the ball at half. Poked and stolen by Ringler. Chase here. Guzman coming to help. Ringler and Guzman have been all over the place in this one early. The defense coming from Richard. She wants the ball back. In the lane, Ringler scores. Back-to-back baskets for Erica Ringler.
Ringler having a very impressive night. Got the steal and then the basket right away as well.
Poked and stolen by the Bulldogs, and it'll go Kenowa Hills' direction here. Guzman, Chase has it. He's pressured here. Guzman putting the moves on. Little stutter, little shimmy, deep step back. And that one misses it all. It'll go the Bulldogs' way.
We've been waiting to try that one. Got the couple step backs there. He was ready, trying to create some separation. Then the deep three.
Guzman reaches on Gillespie. Gets the steal. Ooh, nice little move right there. Lobs it to himself in the full court. Misses short on that one. Gillespie the board, and he'll run it out here for the Bulldogs. Gillespie on his own on the break to the basket. Gets the roll and gets the score. Tim Gillespie puts the Bulldogs on the board again. Vince Palisek kind of went down behind the play. He gets helped back to his feet. And Kenowa Hills will get ready to start up the offense once he's able to get off the floor right here. Bulldogs take it away at center court with Richard. Guzman going to play the defense as it came on to Fan. Top of the key. Gillespie banks it in. Bulldogs within a score, 10-7.
Gillespie bringing some energy to the place. Got a layup, now a deep banked in three.
Ringler feeds to Guzman. Someone get a hand in his face. He's looking to shoot. Guzman on the wing. Draws the defense from Alyssa Richard. Gillespie there as well to watch. Guzman triggers from the volleyball line. Looking for an answer. Can't knock that one down. Kenowa Hills will keep it. Give to Palisek. Here's Vince Palisek. Unable to score. Batted out. Guzman put back. No. Ava Fan chases it. Possesses it. Here comes Gillespie. Horn goes as we got our substitution coming up as we get to the under 6 minute with 5:41. 10-7 Kenowa Hills. Gillespie the triple. Guzman the energy. We know the players right now that are looking to come ahead in this one. Looks like Guzman going to have to take a seat, though. That could be a loss. How are they going to be able to match his energy? All right, Carson Smith will be out there to help the Bulldogs. I want to see what he can do because I was joking to you earlier today. He better not do too well because I think Coach Young might have him in a basketball jersey by the time the game starts.
Yeah, he might be playing another one right after this if he goes out there and shows some of that athletic ability we've seen on the football field, and we know that he brings on the baseball side as well.
Directing track. See, look at that right there. We'll dump pass into the corner for Thelen, unable to hang on to it, and Kenowa Hills will take the possession right there. 5:19 and less here in the unified game. 10-7. Kenowa Hills lead. They went up big early. The Bulldogs closing in. Fiona Curtis with it right here. It's Ava Paskowitz, by the way, that is out helping this the unified team for Kenowa Hills. See her working her way up the floor. A little underhand shot down low. That one went off the connector up top and still nearly found a way to fall. Outlet pass on to Sam Thelen. Drives. Ripped up off the bottom of the rim by Brian Wolfson. Put back no for Thelen. Kenowa Hills again the run out. Fiona Curtis again to run the offense. 4.5 to go. 10-7 game. Curtis. Underhand. Unable to score. Gets another look. Curtis again. Oh, can't quite get the roll. And the Bulldogs will get the run. Sam Thelen to bring the energy and push right here. Thelen to the basket. I mean, if it goes to the bottom, it needs to count for something. Back the other way. Kenowa Hills to run again. This time it's Natalie Crawford on the break. Crawford stops and pops and cannot score. Carson Smith the board. Capitan the ball. Swings on to Thelen. Can't get the conversion. Smith the rebound. Put back. No Capitan. And here's the run out from Brian Wolfson. He's looking to push the pace. He beat me on moving the camera. Wolfson, Euro finish. Wolfson running the full court. Got the swagger after he knocked it down too. 12-7.
Wolfson impressive, getting out and running a little bit, showing some effort on the defensive side too, saving the basketball a couple different times from going out of bounds.
Capitan from mid-range, unable to finish. And the board on to Wolfson. Let's see if he's going to bring some of the heat again. He'll kind of slow it down. He wants to reset the offense. 7-12 or 12-7. Kenowa Hills, that one rolls away. The Bulldogs the steal, and they'll look to run it out again. It's Isaiah Capitan on the break. 3:06, 12-7. Carson hands it off for Asanov. John Asanov drives his way to the basket. Can't get the roll. He'll have another one coming. Got it. Off the window. John Asanov to finish. 2:45, 12-9. The horn goes. We'll get another substitution in. I would like to see some more Daniel Guzman, please.
He's getting rested on the bench. I think he's coming in for the last couple minutes maybe here.
2.5 to go, 12-9. Kenowa Hills the lead, just a 3-point game. I mean, if you're the Bulldogs, you're down 3. I mean, I'm thinking you got to drop Tim Gillespie triple try. He's not out there right now, but he's shown his ability to hit him already. Kenowa Hills starts with the ball right here. Natalie Crawford, the run-up. Crawford at the block, shoots, misses it all. Rebound, punched out of there. And the Bulldogs to run. Grace Adams with it. Diodon on the wing, feeds down to the block, will not go for A.J. Clark. Kenowa Hills to run. At the basket, getting high, and Diodon able to get the hand in there. Stolen back the other way by Wolfson as they're going to run back and forth some. Oh, they missed the over and back call. Here's Wolfson, swings to the elbow. Mid-range goes. E.J. Ellie Clark up the middle of the floor here. He's going to take it in, back in on Wolfson. Spins, cannot score off the window. Wolfson the board. 104. Kenowa Hills to run. Again, it's Brian Wolfson in the full court. Giordani going to meet him. Wolfson steps and nails it. The Grand Haven team going nuts in their own corner. 17-9. Big shot from Wolfson, final 45 seconds. Ellie Clark cannot get the roll. He'll get his board, though. Handoff to Salazar. Alexi Salazar, no. Rebound to Ibuyu Diodone again. Cannot get the finish. Put back Ellie Clark. No, he'll grab another board. Just keep firing up there to himself. High reach. Bulldogs keep it. And out of there, here comes Brian Wolfson. Final 8 seconds. Looking for the buzzer beater. Diodone in the middle. Oh, he went behind the back. At the horn. Oh. And that'll do it. 17-9. Genoa Hills wins the unified contest. Actually, do we have a second half? I guess
so.
Didn't do my prep, which is something I'm supposed to do. And now it's just halftime. So, okay, now time to reset the half here for Coach Stiegel and company. You're down, and some big shots beat you. Wolfson, in particular, put the moves on, and that can't happen again. You have to probably, I think you got to double Wolfson. I think that's something Coach Stiegel has to do. I maybe let Carson and Braden play a two-man game at some point in time based on where it is. That'd be my competitive nature at some point.
Right.
17-9 at the half. What an event, though. And I mean, talking in all seriousness, this is always becomes one of my favorite nights. It's become kind of a tradition here, but it's become one of my kind of favorite nights of the year when we do this triple header. And I found out kind of last minute today that we were doing it ultimately. I mean, it's one of the loudest and the most fun that I think this gym gets at all time. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are in this gym, puts a smile on your face, and somehow takes an edge off, even though we have a fight for the OK right up in 12 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity in between games to get the energy up in the crowd. Everybody gets into the game. Great to see these players out here giving it their all, and gets everybody behind them, and then we turn right into another great basketball game afterwards. But it's really a complete night when you put it all together.
All right, Bulldogs, as we start the second half, will get it. Feed down to Trevor Graves, unable to get the handle, and it'll go back the other way. 15 with the ball there. I don't have a name on for Grandville. I'm trying to get everyone I can at least mention, because 15 is listed as Anaya Fisher. I don't think that's Anaya Fisher. We just saw her playing, of course. All right, running the break. Erica Ringler, saw her earlier. Guzman back out there as well for Genoa Hills. Ringler's going to drive straight to the basket. The defense there from Trevor Graves. He's trying to come from behind and got a piece of it. Guzman on the board. Put back misses. One more coming up here for Guzman, and he's unable to hook in. The rebound of the Bulldogs. Guzman, that should have been a foul. They missed it from behind. Sizing him up. Out of bounds. Genoa Hills, again, apologize. I don't have 15 for the Bulldogs. I feel like my most important role of the night is I have to make sure I get all the names for this as much as possible whenever someone touches it to get everyone their credit. 10:42 and less in the unified game. Second half here, 17-9, Genoa Hills. Last year, Hudsonville won a big, if you remember, the Bulldogs closed in down the stretch as well. See if they can do the same right here. From the free throw line, Vince Pawasek will work his way into the lane. Pawasek forces and scores. He's able to get the finish, and it's a 19-9 game. Chase to the ball. Guzman able to get there first for Genoa Hills with 9:52. They'll restart their break here. Little self-pass by Pawasek. Takes it in. Lexi Bush guiding him. Vince unable to score there. And the Bulldogs the run out. Here's James Etcher with it, stolen by Guzman. He's all alone at the basket, unable to get the finish. Rebound to Graves, he'll run it out. 9:20 to go, Bulldogs trail by 10. Graves all alone, here comes Guzman from behind, able to let Guzman go by. Cannot score over top of the defense, and Guzman on the board.
Graves able to make Guzman miss there, saw him coming, stop in the lane, just not quite able to get the shot to fall, but showing a good ability to handle the basketball. Made a shot earlier in the game as well.
Erica Ringler gets the finish. We'll go under 9 minutes. We'll have the horn. We'll have a substitution coming up. Bulldogs get their subs in right here. Coach Stiegel talking with his bench. We talked about this last year too. This is, I always marvel at Coach Stiegel first off, because this is what he does. He's a special ed teacher here at Hamilton, at Grandville. That is his day job. But it's amazing that you have a power T coach. You think of kind of the toughness that his teams a lot of times play with, and then he also has this side to him with the special ed stuff. You can see obviously how good at it he. Quite obviously is within that, but always unique and so cool that he's able to help put this on.
Yeah, it is. It's good to see that both sides of Coach Stiegel like that, where you see him on the football field and then the success he's had there and everything that he's been able to do, and then the natural ability he has working with these kids and getting them ready to go for this game.
Guzman launches it over top of Gillespie. We got the matchup we wanted. We got Guzman versus Gillespie right now. Actually, I like he's got the there is a coaching march and he's got it right now. He's got the hands in the pockets, the same look that he's got when he's normally patrolling the sideline.
Yep. Looking at the bench, seeing who he's about to rotate in here, getting the right players out there.
Austin Vermeris all the way to the rack, can't get the finish. Gillespie the board, keeps the possession alive, tries to feed that one, rolls on through and came on to Campbell. Here's Richard. No, Gillespie the board, he'll sprint it out. He's looking for three. He buried one earlier from the corner. Tim Gillespie, no. 34 for Kennewick Hills, also unlisted on our roster. We have a run it out. Got the finish. Good job. Defense and offense right there. Get the board, run it out. Good things are going to happen for you.
Yeah, to break away off the rebound and never look back.
23-9, Kennewick Hills. Come in close. The touch off the rim from Alyssa Richard, 23-11. Both varsity boys teams have returned to their respective locker rooms, look like, getting ready for that one. Remember, that is still coming up. Don't go anywhere. It is a battle for first in the OK Red. Grandville, Grand Haven, each 3-1 coming into tonight. Grand Haven lost for the first time this year to East Kentwood, continuing to show how good of a win that was for Grandville going back a Friday ago. .558 in the last right here. We'll have a substitution coming up. Have a fast 3 minutes right there. A bit more defensive back and forth the way that it went. Mohamed Abdullahi will get ready to throw this one in for the Bulldogs. Bulldogs have like 4 different units. This is like the 2015 Kentucky team. 5:22 in the second. Capitan to the ball again. Capitan feeds corner to Vidine. Whips it all the way across, looking for Thelen. He can't hang on to that one, and Kennewick Hills takes the basketball back. 5:07 and less, 23-11. It's been all nights in this one. Unified contest. And our boy Brian Wolfson is back out there ready to put on a show again. He's going to go and one mixtape on us again.
He's ready to, I think, break out the between the legs. He's going to hit a step back three. I've got a feeling he's working on it.
Driving down, Fiona Curtis will get a chance. Able to score. Nicely done. Right, that's a tough shot to hit. 25-11 Kennewick Hills, and Isaiah Capitan again the ball with 4.5. Feed to Thelen, no good. Touches it, free throw line, Capitan, got it. 25-13 with 4:18. Unified contest.
Bulldogs passing around a little bit, eventually getting that shot to go.
Ball can move faster than you can. Keep it snapping around. Always good things are going to happen then. Top of the key, Crawford off the mark. Nice reaching rebound from Abdullahi. Capitan the run out. Abdullahi drives, scores off the window. Nice little move there in rhythm. That's how you get it done. Right hand power dribble and finish. 3:47 and less, 25-15. Fiona Curtis with it again, scored a moment ago. We're gonna have some defense this time from the Bulldogs. It's gonna be tough. Got a screen set from Brian. That one knocked away. Wolfson has it rejected as well. Goes back to Curtis. You're gonna drive in the lane this time. Bulldogs setting up the wall, triple team on the inside. Pack the paint right here defensively. Through the defense, able to get it up but cannot finish. And the Bulldogs will go to the run out with Sam Thelen. Has to chase it down. Unable to get there though. 2:56 actually will stay with the Bulldogs. Buzzer goes. We'll have another change of unit. More clap for everyone coming off the floor for the final time right here. 25-15. Bulldogs got to get something going down 10 here inside the final 2:40.
They're going to have a couple more chances to make some big shots down the stretch here, getting some familiar faces that were in the game earlier back in for the last couple minutes.
All right, here is Crawford. Crawford stops and pops in the wing, unable to hit. And the Bulldogs take it. Under 2:20. .211 and less. All right, we're back. Apologies there. We had a cord kicked out. We've got a lot of activeness. We're getting a live picture taken right now. Eric Halen, our former boss at MGN, is while live on the air taking a selfie with us, and now we're back rolling here. Kennewick Hills has the ball inside, 1:20 to go. Bulldogs bringing the pressure defense in, tipped out, and the run out here from Diodone. He did a lot of good work earlier. Kicks nicely to the corner. Triple try. Oh, off the mark. Diodone will kick it out again. Again, 15 don't have his name, unfortunately, on the roster for the Bulldogs. And there he banks that one in. Diodone races for another board. Try another triple. Oh. Brian Wolfson in there on the defense. 43 and less. Big guy inside. Ellie Clark can't get the finish. Chase to this one. Ellie Clark again with 34. Got it off the window. All right, 23 and less. Clark with it. Wolfson's calling for it. He wants the step back chance. Clark from the free throw line, not able to get the friendly touch. Final 8 seconds. Ellie Clark the run out. It's going to be a Kennewick Hills win. Ellie Clark feeds to the wing with 2 seconds, has to put it up at the horn. Oh, one too many moves, unable to quite beat the buzzer with that one, trying to size up his man. And that'll do it. Crowd comes to its feet. What a contest that was. Another terrific unified game here in Grandville. Thanks to Coach Stiegel. Everyone else helps put that on. Always, always terrific. All right. Well, that's fun. That had everyone smiling, Chandler. energy about to turn a little bit more serious, I think, in this gym. Grandville, Grand Haven, the boys, each 3-1. It's a fight for the top spot in the OK Red. High five line. After another fun one in the unified contest. We're going to step aside. Let's reset the broadcast from the top. And then we'll get our Bait Stations pregame show underway. Grandville, Grand Haven. It's a fight for the top spot in the OK Red. Do not go anywhere.